This is the Atomic Shinobi and today I'm going to narrate what if Naruto became new leader of Root. If you enjoyed this video, please like, share and subscribe to this channel. Without wasting no more time, let's start the story.
5-year-old Naruto Uzumaki anxiously glanced around him. He had been living on the streets for 3 weeks after being expelled from the orphanage when a man wearing a white mask with kanji on it told him that someone wanted to talk to him earlier today. Now that Naruto was in what appeared to be a cave, he noticed a man sitting across from him with bandages covering a portion of his face. The man said, "Leave us." Before the man who had brought Naruto to this room said, "As you wish, sir," and walked away, Naruto appeared perplexed. "My name is Danzo Shimaru and I have a proposition for you," said the man across from Naruto. As Naruto appeared perplexed, Danzo remarked, "I mean a deal for you. I forgot a moment you were so young and probably didn't know the word proposition, which means a deal or offer. What is this props tits on Dango?" Naruto asked in a tone of confusion that any child would have. Danzo eye twitched and said, "My name is Danzo, and this proposition is this: I know more about you than you do. I know your name, your parents' name, what they were like, why people look at you the way they do, and many other things about you that you have no idea about. I am willing to tell you this info, but only if you can earn them from me." Naruto's eyes widened and he pleaded, sounding like a child, tell me, please." Danzo was saying, "You have to earn this info in this world. Information is power. You want the info I have, then you're going to have to earn it by doing what I tell you to do." "Anything," declared Naruto. "I'll do anything." "Good, then follow me," Danzo said. 10 years later, while his two teammates, Sakura Haruno and Sasuke Uchiha, stood in front of their Junin sensei Hitaki Kakashi, who was standing upside down on a pair of crutches in a clearing in Wave Country learning the tree climbing exercise, Naruto Uzumaki, wearing his signature orange jumpsuit, twitched his eyebrow over his left eye. A kunai was thrown to each of their feet by Kakashi, who then instructed them to use those to mark your progress. Get a running start to help you. After a few feet, Naruto's chakra was overloaded, and he leapt from the tree. Sasuke climbed a few feet higher than Naruto on the tree next to him before he ran out of chakra and fell off after marking his progress. Everyone looked up at the tree and saw Sakura standing on a branch close to the top when she said, "This isn't so hard." Kakashi grinned and replied, "Good job, Sakura. It looks like you're closer to being Hokage than someone, and it seems the Uchiha aren't that great either." Sakura glared at Sasuke, who was displaying anger, and hissed, "Don't say thing like that, Kakashi-sensei." Kakashi responded, "Anyways, Sakura, since you have completed this, starting tomorrow you will head to the bridge and guard Tazuna. Sasuke and Naruto will stay here and practice until they get it down." As Sakura sat on the ground to observe Sasuke, Naruto narrowed his eyes a little and said, "Hi, sensei." Sakura was sleeping in a guest bedroom at Tazuna's house later that night when she heard someone say, "Wake up, Sakura." A wet washcloth struck Sakura in the face as she woke up from her slumber, causing her to sit up abruptly. When she looked around the room, she saw Naruto sitting backwards in a chair with his arms across the back. "Are you awake now, Sakura?" Naruto asked. When Sakura felt her body move without her moving it, she snarled and said, "What are you doing in here, Baka? Don't you? Hey, what the hell's going on?" She then got up to reveal to Naruto that she was sleeping in a long pink sleep shirt and pink underwear. As he moved his fingers, Sakura felt her hands grab her shirt and swiftly pull it over her head, exposing her breast to Naruto. As the shirt dropped to the ground, Naruto arched an eyebrow and remarked, "Not that I'm complaining, but don't you think you're taking the pink thing a little too much? In fact." Sakura screamed, "Stop, help, save me," with a mortified expression on her face. "You know, if they didn't hear you when I first woke you up, do you really think they would hear you after 5 minutes of screaming?" Naruto asked, as he sat there and watched Sakura scream for more than 5 minutes, enjoying the show while her B-cup breast bounced the more she screamed until she was panting. "This room has a privacy jutsu on it, making it where no one can hear anything that is going on in here." Sakura said, "What's going on? Why are you here? What are you going to do to me?" As her eyes widened and she became extremely frightened. "I just thought since you're everyone else's little puppet that I should play with you too, but you know what the problem with puppets are, Sakura," Sakura said, feeling both of her arms rise above her head as Naruto made a motion with his finger. Sakura, who was still circling, uttered the terrified words, "Please stop." As Sakura abruptly collapsed to the ground, Naruto remarked, "When their strings are cut they become completely useless." When a scroll struck Sakura in the face and Naruto yelled, "Read it," in a demanding tone, the growling Sakura began to stand up. Ignoring Naruto's words, Sakura began to stand up and open her mouth to speak, but Naruto said, "I told you to read it," as she held the tip of a sword in front of her. "Who are you? You can't be Naruto, Sakura questioned. Naruto stated, you never knew the real me Sakura and you still don't now read the scroll before I decide to make it look like Zabuza partner came in here and killed you. When Naruto unleashed a little ki, Sakura's eyes widened and she said, but, as her fear increased he then said, read it. After swallowing, Sakura picked up the scroll and started reading it. New Genin's Standard Junin Instructor Training Schedule. Physical Stamina Training Weeks 1-2 Weeks 2-3, Climbing Tree. Taijutsu Training Weeks 3-4 Water Walking, Weeks 4-5. Genjutsu Training Weeks 5-6 Chakra Control Combinations Weeks 6-7. Ninjutsu Training Weeks 7-8 Week 8-12, Skill Refinement and Review. Sakura said, what is this, as she raised her head from the scroll. Naruto replied, that is the training schedule for all new Genin that the Hokage gives to each Junin instructor including Kakashi. Tell me, you see anything wrong with it? Sakura looked at Naruto and replied, Kakashi had originally asked to have Sasuke as an apprentice. You saw the eye he hid under his headband. It's because of that eye that Kakashi wanted Sasuke as his apprentice since it's the Uchiha clan bloodline. Sakura questioned Naruto's statement, asking, then why is it that you and I are his students? As she wondered, could this be real? If so, why isn't Kakashi-sensei following its instructions? As Naruto put his hand on the wooden floor and said, watch, to Sakura's surprise, the floor started to change and another chair emerged from it. After glancing between Naruto and the chair multiple times, Sakura finally asked, how? Naruto stated, I'm a descendant of the Shoden Hokage. I'm actually a lot more skilled than you know. The idiot persona is actually a cover to protect myself and cause those who would want to kill me to underestimate me. I've had over 43 assassination attempts on my life already and I have killed over 10 people in my life. Sakura. With wide eyes, Sakura asked, what are you going to do to me? Naruto said, I'm going to talk you Sakura and reveal certain secrets that have been hidden from you, secrets that will change your life forever. I will then give you a choice with 2 options and you will have to choose which option you want. Now please sit down in the chair and if you want put your shirt back on, though I find you breathtakingly beautiful. In order to maintain her modesty, Sakura quickly grabbed her nightshirt, put it back on, sat down in the chair, bit her lip, and asked, what do you want to tell me? She pushed the bottom of her shirt over her panties in the front. Naruto noticed this but dismissed it and replied, I guess the first place would be to talk to you about why you are really on Team 7. It's not the reason Iruka-sensei told us in class, because you did have the highest book grades in our class, but your actual physical tests were the lowest. When those were balanced out, you were actually the 4th kunoichi in our class, with Ino being 1st, Hinata 2nd, Amy 3rd, and you 4th. Sakura said, but, as her eyes widened he raised his hand to stop her and replied, then if what I am saying is true, then why are you here and not Ino, Hinata, or Amy? Ino isn't here because the Ino Shikacho families have worked together for over 35 years with 7 different teams of them. They are so close that most of their family jutsu have been designed to work together to cover each other's weakness. Ino, Shoji, and Shikamaru parents, being the clan heads, actually used special drugs to make sure they would all be born around the same time to ensure they would be on the same team. Next is Hinata. Shino and Kiba are both clan heirs. Clan members are usually put together with other clan members because they are more advanced than those from civilian families, Naruto remarked, receiving a scowl from Sakura. As Sakura put it, and you and Sasuke being are the same. Naruto laughed and replied, there is far more about me that you don't know and why I was put on this team, but I will tell you that I probably won't be on this team after the Chunin exams. I've been selected since the day I was born to be trained by my godfather Jiraiya of the Sannin, but due to his duties to Konoha he couldn't take me until the Chunin exams. He originally was supposed to take me when I became a genin, but like I said, duties kept him longer. So why am I here instead of Amy? Sakura asked with a frown. 3 reasons actually. The first is because Inoichi, Ino's father, requested you be on this team, Naruto said, rubbing his nose. Sakura asked, why would he ask me to be on this team? With a bewildered expression. Naruto replied, Ino, you and Ino are rivals, you compete with each other, and Inoichi figured that you being here would make Ino work harder to beat you so she would look better for Sasuke. That was why he requested you. Sakura said, what about the other 2 reasons? With a frown. Naruto said, the second reason will hurt your feelings, but as I told you I was originally going to be taken by Jiraiya. You saw the Sharingan eye Kakashi had. There is a story behind that eye that I won't tell you out of respect for Kakashi, but Kakashi had requested originally to take Sasuke as an apprentice. With me being still here, a 3rd person was needed until the Chunin exams at least. Team 7 would be then most likely be broken apart and the 3rd person would get swept into a team that needed a replacement or quit. Kakashi is a great ninja and I could not ask for a better squad leader, so don't think bad about him. But Kakashi is a sorry excuse for a sensei. He doesn't want to screw up my training with Jiraiya by teaching me something different than Jiraiya would, since I'm a special case. When Sasuke activates his Sharingan, then Kakashi will have him basically copy jutsu while sparring with him because of your past actions towards Sasuke, namely your blind fangirlism, and the fact that you physically hold the team back. He sees no reason to try and help you get stronger. An irate Sakura remarked, "That's not fair," Naruto replied. "Life isn't fair, you know that voice inside your head." Sakura eyes widened and Naruto said, "Thought no one knew about that, huh? You were given a secret mental evaluation like all Konoha genins. Well, except me, I've got a special condition that makes it where they couldn't do that to me, but anyways, you were classified with a second personality in you." It was unclear if it was a multiple personality disorder caused by your low self-esteem from kids picking on you because of your hair and forehead, two things you feel inferior about. The reason it is unclear if it is MPD is because there is another girl, a clan heiress who was not in our class, who has what is known as an IDO or ID, also known as an inner demon. Both those options should have had you removed from the ninja program and your chakra sealed away so that the other voice inside your head could not become a threat to the village later. After observing Sakura's fear and anxiety, Naruto said, "The reason you are still here instead of being kicked out is because there is another possibility as to what that voice is that would be both good and bad for you." Sakura bit her lip. Sakura inquired, "What is it?" Naruto stated, "You were originally going to be discarded after your mental evaluation, but I protected you by stealing your test results and altering them to hide the fact you had that inner voice. I also sealed away the memories of the guy who did your test so he doesn't remember testing you, and if word ever got out I did that for you, I would be in serious trouble. But the other option about what that voice could be is actually a bloodline." Sakura widened her eyes and uttered, "A bloodline?" Naruto stated, "Sakura, I did some searching into your family's past, hoping to find out more about you. Because of my crush on you, I found out your mother came to Konoha when she was 3 years old with some refugees. She didn't have any parents and she did enter the academy but was kicked out when her inner voice was found. The fact that you and your mother both had this inner voice makes me believe that you might have a bloodline." Sakura's voice was hopeful as she said, "Really?" Naruto stated, "Sakura, when you make Chunin they do another mental evaluation and I won't be able to hide your inner voice again like I did before. It will be discovered between now and the time you make Chunin. You are either going to have to learn to use your inner voice to prove it's a bloodline, or you will have your chakra sealed and be kicked out of the ninja program. But if you prove that you have a bloodline, then you will gain the right to continue being a ninja, but you will lose your chance to be with Sasuke." Sakura's eyes widened and she exclaimed, "What?" Naruto sighed and replied, "Remember what Sasuke said the day we met Kakashi? I will kill a certain guy and restore my clan. Sasuke can't be with you or Ino or anyone else from any clan if he wants to restore his clan, because there is a chance that the two bloodlines won't merge together. So you're faced with a choice of either being a kunoichi or quit to be a civilian between now and the time we become Chunin, hoping you impress Sasuke enough to love you while hiding the fact you might have a bloodline. Anyways, that's a future choice you will have to make and isn't why I am here," changing his voice to sound like Sasuke a moment. Sakura replied, "Why are you here then if you don't want to ruin my life?" Naruto was saying, "I'm trying to save your life, Sakura. I know you don't believe me, Sakura, but think about this. Kakashi sending you to go guard the client while me and Sasuke train. What could you actually do against Zabuza partner if he shows up to kill Tazuna, or if Gato and his men show up? And be honest, not just for me but yourself." Sakura said, scowling, "I could." Naruto interrupted her and said, "Use the henge to try and confuse the enemy. Replace yourself with object nearby to dodge any danger. Walk under the bridge to hide while Tazuna dies. Or use henge to appear you're dead so they won't rape you. That is if you still have the energy to use henge after you tired yourself out trying to stay alive for a few minutes while Sasuke and me train in the woods, not knowing you're in danger, and Kakashi stays here reading his porn book and trying to flirt with Tsunami so he could maybe get laid." Sakura bit her lip as she attempted to block his phrases but realized she was unable to do so. She looked down as he said, "The third reason you are here is because I made a request with someone influential who I am connected to in order for you to be placed on this team, but not for the reason everyone else wants you here for. I knew you wanted to be on the team with Sasuke, so I wanted to make you happy. But I also wanted you here because I can see a great deal of potential in you to be a great kunoichi. So much potential that I think you could surpass Tsunade Senju of the Sannin with the right help that I am willing to offer you. But as I was once told, information is power and power comes at a price. The question is, are you willing to pay the price for power, and how powerful you want to become?" As he stuffs it in his pocket, Sakura fell on her ass after he put his hand on both chairs, which disappeared into the floor. Naruto stretched before pulling out 9 hairpins with cherry blossoms on them and said, "These are for you." They are a gift I was planning to give you for your last birthday, but you told me to get the hell away from you because I was scaring away your Sasuke-kun. I know you love your long hair, but long hair can be bad for ninja because it can be used against you. I made these with special seals that my mother originally created to train her to use her long hair. Tie these 9 pins in 9 places at the end of your hair and use your chakra to send chakra through your hair into the pins and try to lift them. With enough practice you can make your hair a weapon instead of a weakness because ninja hairpins are designed like these that are similar in shape to senbon needles. Imagine someone grabbing you by your hair and you use your hair to attack them with the hairpins to either kill them or cause them injury while making them let go of you. This is a gift for you even if you don't want my help. As he sat them down, Sakura asked, glancing at the hairpins, what would happen if I decided to accept your assistance? Naruto looked at her and replied, depends on if you want to be just an average kunoichi or a great one. As an average kunoichi you will get stronger, but once I get you trained enough to be promoted to chunin I'll stop your training and leave you to continue your own training yourself. Biting her lip, Sakura uttered, and if I want to be a great one? Naruto glanced out of the window to see the first ray of light in the distance and replied, if you want to be a great one I'll break you apart and rebuild you. I'll put you through training that will make you wish you were dead. I'll reveal truths about you and others that will change your view on the world forever. That will cause your allies to cheer when you appear on the battlefield and your enemies to flee in fear. But I told you power comes at a price. That training will push you past your limits until you don't have limits. It will cost you your pride, dignity, blood, sweat, tears and innocence. You will have to learn to kill your emotions on the battlefield where you can take a life without fear. The power to protect and destroy, that is what it means to be a ninja. Sakura, that is what I will teach you. When he glanced back at her, Sakura's eyes widened when she saw Naruto's confident and determined expression, and she asked herself, who are you really, Naruto? Naruto stated, I got to go. Kakashi will be waking up soon. If you decide that you want my training, then ask Kakashi before you leave. What should you do if Gato men show up at the bridge, or if Zabuza partner shows up? Make sure it's while I'm there. But know this, Sakura, I'm putting my trust in you. If you betray my trust, then it will be you who will pay, because I won't be able to help you get stronger or protect you. As he disappeared into the leaves, Sakura sat on the floor and gazed at the location where Naruto had been, reflecting on the information that had been shared with her. She smiled slightly as she looked at the hairpins Naruto had given her after getting off the ground. That's nice, Naruto, but what am I going to do? She thought as she closed her eyes and started to think again. After entering Tazuna's house 2 hours later, looking exhausted and filthy, Naruto heard a gasp and looked up to see Tazuna, Tsunami, Inari, Sakura, Sasuke, and Kakashi seated at the breakfast table. When Kakashi saw Naruto's expression, he scowled behind his mask and remarked, you went back out and trained some more last night, didn't you, Naruto? With a sheepish head rub, Naruto replied, yeah. With a frown, Sasuke said, Dobi. Naruto approached and took a seat at the table, saying, Teme. That wasn't very smart, Naruto, Kakashi remarked. Naruto replied, but sensei, if Zabuza and his partner show back up, then we have to be ready. Kakashi replied, but if you're too tired to defend yourself from training too much, then it was all for nothing. Naruto replied, but you were the one who said Zabuza shouldn't be ready for a week. Sakura said, Kakashi-sensei, you mentioned that I was supposed to watch Tazuna at the bridge today. What should I do if Zabuza partner shows up or Gato sends someone else? As Kakashi scowled behind his mask. According to Kakashi, guard Tazuna and return here. Sensei, I'll go with Sakura. I finished that tree climbing last night, Naruto scowled. Says Kakashi, Naruto, there, Naruto stated, those who don't follow the rules are trash, but those who abandon their comrades are worse than trash. That's what you told us the day we became a team. Our mission is to guard Tazuna. I'm not going to sit back and relax while Sakura and Tazuna might be in danger. Besides, I can rest while there to regain the energy I lost last night. I am known for my quick recovery anyways. If you can show me you completed the tree climbing exercise, I'll agree, Kakashi said, biting his lip. Naruto smirked and said, see sensei, I did it. Before letting go and flipping right side up to land on his feet, Naruto jumped and flipped in the air before sticking to the ceiling, shocking Tazuna and his family and making Sasuke frown. Alright, Naruto, you can go with Sakura and Tazuna, Kakashi sighed. As he ran up the stairs, Naruto said, alright, let me wash up real quick and grab a quick bite and I'll be ready to go in less than 10 minutes. Old man, has there been any work on the bridge while you were gone? Asked Naruto as he, Sakura, and Tazuna started to make their way toward the bridge 15 minutes later. Tazuna replied, no, I told everyone to wait until I got back to make sure there was no mistakes. I'm building this bridge to last. Naruto responds by saying, Sakura, I think since Gato's hired ninja that we should take precaution before letting Tazuna and the others start work. We should check the supports under the bridge for explosives tags, check the crates and machines for traps, as well as search the area around the bridge for areas that could be used to attack workers coming and going to the bridge. Tazuna's eyes widened as she said, "You really think someone might have booby-trapped my bridge?" According to Naruto, if Gato wanted you dead and the bridge destroyed, the easiest way would be to have explosives on the supports and have them go off with you and your workers on it, take out you and the bridge in one blast. Tazuna replied, "Then we should get to the bridge faster to warn the others." Naruto grabbed the arm of Tazuna and replied, "No, Sakura, I'm going to create a couple of Kage Bunshin. I want you to go with one and head south away from the bridge and town. I'll send two north while I going with Tazuna. When we get to the bridge I'll create some more Kage Bunshin and have them check the bridge out quickly, and before you say anything, old man, I should tell you anything a Kage Bunshin learns will be transferred to me and the other Kage Bunshin when to spell, so that if they find something I'll know immediately," as he glanced at Sakura. Sakura remarked, "That's a good idea, Naruto," thinking, "He's telling me that more than Tazuna. Alright. Pair up one Sakura to one me, that way if you are spotted by Gato or Zabuza they won't realize you are just Kage Bunshin." Naruto nods, and four more Naruto appear, two of them hanged into Sakura. "I'll go with Tazuna and a Sakura clone. The real Sakura and a Kage Bunshin head south while the other two head north." When Sakura noticed the Kage Bunshin standing next to her turn, she said, "Come on Sakura, we need to go." He started to leave as the three groups split up, with one pair heading north and the other pair going with Tazuna. After giving the real Naruto a brief glance, Sakura nodded and started to follow the Kage Bunshin. "Alright, let's go, old man," Naruto said. 10 minutes later Sakura and Naruto stopped in a clearing to say, "Alright, we can talk here, Sakura. I set this place up last night after I talked to you, just like in your room. Nobody can hear us, and I've placed chakra seals around the area where nobody will be able to feel our chakra, as well as a genjutsu seal that will hide us from view, so nobody but you and me knows what's going on here. I know everything the original knows, and like he told you, anything I learn will be transferred back to him when I am dispelled. Now I am guessing you probably want to talk some more, right?" Sakura replied, "Yes." Nods and responds, "Do you still want to be a kunoichi or a civilian, and if you are a kunoichi, do you want to be an ordinary kunoichi or a grade 1? I want to prove that I'm better than what everyone thinks I am, and I want Sasuke-kun to love me," Sakura said, biting her lip. Naruto replied, "That's going to be pretty hard. I think of you very highly." Naruto said, "Sakura, do you even realize why you love Sasuke?" as Sakura flushed. Sakura said, "Of course I do," while blinking. She was interrupted by Naruto, who said, "Please give me a moment before you answer." With a scowl, Sakura said, "Fine," Naruto said, "I'm not clueless when it comes to women like I pretended to be. I know Hinata has a crush on me, but I don't return her feelings because Hinata and I wouldn't work out. I don't want someone to stand behind me or use me to support themselves. I want someone who can stand up beside me on their own 2 feet. Men and women are not that different from each other when it comes to wanting someone. A man usually wants a woman who, either because of her beauty or social status, is out of their league. Women want a guy who is also out of their league, either in social status or looks also. Both men and women are the same because humans are a prideful race. They want pride to be able to show off who they are with, like a trophy, saying, 'Hey, look what I got,' and you don't. Deep down, that is where most relationships are started, because of desire or lust to fuel their pride. Relationships fail though when their pride is hurt or just simply can't stand on equal footing against the pride of the one they're with." Sakura was about to speak and Naruto replied, "Sasuke is like a trophy to you and the other girls around our age. You all see him because of his look and his status, but you also see his attitude like it is a puzzle that if you can solve you can get inside his cold shell to get close to him so you can show everyone, haha, look, I did it. I solved the great Sasuke Uchiha mystery and you didn't." Sakura remarked, "That's not true," Naruto replied. "Really? Then why do you like Sasuke besides his looks, his status as the rookie of the year, the last Uchiha, his wealth, or because of his cold attitude that he erected around himself to keep everyone away? Go ahead, I'm listening, prove me wrong." Before she could say anything, Naruto said, "Let me guess, you're about to tell me about what happened the day we were put on the teams, where Sasuke stood by the tree in the park and said, 'Your forehead's so big, it makes me want to kiss it.' That's something Naruto would say." Sakura opened her mouth and said, "Hi." As she struggled to think of something to say, her eyes widened, and Naruto noticed she had thought of something. "How do you know about that? Where are you spying on us?" Sakura asked, her eyes widening. Naruto nodded his head and replied, It was a henge, Sakura. I was testing you to see if you could detect a henge, and if you did, then I was going to offer to start training you that day after I found out what you really thought about me. Guess you could say we both failed that day, huh? Sakura was shocked by what she was hearing and thought, that wasn't really Sasuke-kun, that's why he was so different. A few minutes later. Then he said, you'll have to make up your own mind about your feelings for Sasuke later. Anyways, if you are serious about being that good, then I'm going to train you to be the best. You being here is a big risk since you don't really have a reason to trust me. The fact you are has earned some of my trust, Sakura. Something that isn't easy to do. I am sure you are questioning who I really am and what you know about me is real and what isn't, right? As he gazed at her. Yeah, Sakura said nervously, fidgeting nods as he says, Sakura. Even though I trust you some, there are things that you are going to learn that are secrets that if you tell anyone will have you killed immediately by the Hokage or others. To protect you, I have to make sure you don't accidentally tell any of what I am about to tell you or show you during your training. To do that, I ask for permission to place a seal on you that will make it impossible for you to tell anything you're about to learn. Will you let me put that seal on you? Will it hurt? Sakura asked. Biting her lip, Naruto stated, for a moment it will, but the pain will be gone in just a few moments. The seal will go in your throat and will feel like you screamed as loud as you can, so your throat will be sore a few moments until you get some water to cool it. Sakura said, how will you put a seal in my throat? As she became anxious. Naruto replied, hand me your hand a moment and I'll show you. Despite her nervousness, Sakura held up her hand, and Naruto placed his hand on it. To Sakura's surprise, black ink briefly appeared on her hand before vanishing, making her wince and ask, what was that? Grab a kunai and send chakra into your hand while holding the kunai, Naruto commanded. Sakura scowled but followed instructions, and when the kunai vanished, she exclaimed, what the where did it go? It's inside the seal on your hand, Naruto stated to demonstrate how I will insert a temporary storage seal into your throat. I placed one on your hand, now unseal the kunai and send chakra to your hand once more. Naruto remarked, now that seal on your hand is gone. As Sakura did so and looked in awe, it was only a temporary seal. As I mentioned, what you just witnessed is known as chakra writing. It's how I intend to put the seal in your throat. But in order to do so, I must insert my finger into your mouth and send chakra into your throat. Otherwise, I risk cutting your throat open, which is painful and dangerous. Are your hands clean? Sakura asked, swallowing. That's as clean as I can get them right now, Naruto said, taking out a canteen and dousing his hands in water. Will we now take this action or not? Sakura inhaled deeply before opening her mouth and sticking out her tongue, saying, do it. Sakura felt a strange sensation on her tongue when Naruto placed his finger on it. It then moved down into her throat, causing her to experience severe pain for a brief moment before it subsided. She then saw Naruto offer her his canteen, which she accepted and quickly downed some water. After some time, she uttered the words, that hurt. I know, Naruto remarked, but if you hadn't had that seal on you, the man who was in charge of training me would have killed you the moment he discovered that I had begun training you. I'll just call him my sponsor for the time being. He trained me from the time I was 5 years old, for several hours every day, until I graduated. Before you ask, is that true? Then, why did I fail the test 3 times? Let me explain. You recall Mizuki? Sakura questioned, what about Mizuki-sensei? Mizuki was a traitor to Konoha, Naruto declared. Although there was no evidence to support the theory that Mizuki killed his teammate, who died inexplicably, he was prohibited from leaving the village due to the suspicion, which compelled him to work as an assistant instructor at the academy. I had already registered to take the test early because I was prepared to do so when my sponsor asked me to fail it in order to watch Mizuki and to safeguard all of the clan heirs in that class. 1 was in the middle of the class concealing my true abilities before Mizuki arrived. Mizuki turned out to be a true traitor. Mizuki is presently imprisoned for treason after I was able to obtain the evidence that he was pursuing the forbidden scroll of seals. Are you joking? Sakura asked, her eyes widening. Sakura said, whoa, why didn't you tell anyone? After Naruto shook his head no. According to Naruto, assassination attempts ring any bells? A sheepish expression came over Sakura's face as she asked, oh, so what are you going to do to train me? As I mentioned last night, you have the best book smarts in our class, but your biggest weakness at the moment is your physical skills. Naruto remarked, your limited chakra reserves are the reason you completed the tree climbing exercise so effortlessly. Controlling a small amount of dirt that falls out of your hands and into a pile is simple. Controlling a large amount is much more difficult. Sakura scowled, and Naruto went on, in less than 4 months, the Chunin exams will take place. Then, I want you to either become a civilian or a Chunin kunoichi. I will be able to train you to be a great kunoichi between now and then by putting you through intense training and doing some things to you that must be kept a secret because they are my clan secrets and I don't want anyone to know about them. If I can this way, if I have to leave Konoha to train with Jiraiya, I know that you will either be able to protect yourself when I'm not there or be safe by being a civilian. Will you comply with my requests in order to fulfill my training requirements? Yes. Sakura said uncertainly. I'm not going to lie to you, Sakura, Naruto said. Glancing at her, I insist that people tell the truth when they give me their word on anything. It's a severe punishment if it's not mine. Are you certain that you are prepared and willing to follow my instructions for training in order to ensure that you are? Sakura swallowed and responded, yes, very well, said Naruto. I'm going to apply a number of additional clan secret seals to you. A gravity seal is the first type. Of gravity seal magnifies the amount of gravity pulling on your body, so if you weigh 100 pounds at 10, your body will perceive that weight as 100 pounds, but at 11, it will perceive that weight as 110 pounds, and at 20, it will perceive that weight as 200 pounds. Only 30 is the maximum for gravity seals. At 30, you don't really weigh 300 pounds. It gives you the impression that you weigh 300 pounds. Sakura questioned, why would someone want that? Speed, strength, stamina, and endurance training. Sakura. Naruto stated, if you were unable to keep up with your opponent previously and you were receiving these seals, don't argue. If you suddenly went from 30 to 10 in a battle, you would be much stronger, faster, and have more energy to fight your enemy. This would give you a huge advantage that could give you a victory. Sakura sighed, and Naruto remarked, a resistance seal is the next seal. Similar to a gravity seal, the resistance seal aids in muscle tone while the gravity seal aids in muscle growth. Consider your body's energy to be weight. If moving your finger required 1 pound of weight at 1 level of resistance, moving the same finger at 2 levels of resistance would require 2 pounds of energy. A resistance seal can withstand 3 times the resistance, but only 3 times, like a gravity seal. Now, this seal is meant to help your body become accustomed to producing more energy to support you in carrying out your daily tasks, but when you remove your resistance seal, your strength will instantly double or triple. Sakura remarked, I see. No, not yet, Naruto said, but believe me, you will understand me better when we return to Konoha. I now want you to perform your resistance and weight training in this manner. Today, you should begin with your weight seal at 1 and your resistance seal at 1. When you get up tomorrow, I want you to raise your resistance seal to 2, and when you're ready to go to bed, I want you to lower it back to 1 while you sleep, while maintaining your weight seal at 1. Then, when you wake up the following day, you will have a 30 resistance seal. When you go to bed that night, you will have a 120 resistance seal. This way, when you wake up the following day, you will have a 12 weight seal and a 120 resistance seal. You will then repeat the process daily until you reach a 30 weight and resistance seal. If you follow this schedule, you will reach that point in just over 2 months. One thing, though, is that you can avoid injuring yourself by putting too much weight on your body at once. Sakura questioned, what? I want you to take a day off from your resistance and weight seal when you reach 2 and 3, Naruto stated. To test your body and discover how much stronger you really are, keep them off because they never push their muscles to the limit. Most people who use other types of weight training or resistance training actually injure themselves when they drop their weights or resistance. Wear them for 2 days after you reach 3 on each of the weight and resistance seals, turning them off before bed, and then take a day off on the 3rd day. You get it? Sakura nods, and Naruto responds. Well done. Although these seals are useful for strengthening your muscles, they're merely instruments. They won't turn you into a jerk overnight, and that's just one aspect of your issue. Your chakra and bloodline issues won't be resolved by any of this. Sakura replied, do you have any idea on how to help me with my bloodline? I have a couple of theories, Naruto stated. As you can see, I've dealt with similar situations before. Giving your inner voice a name. I believe you should call her Isis. Should be the first step in separating you from her. Sakura asked, why? With a perplexed expression on her face, hearing her inner Sakura ask the same question. Because, in my opinion, it's the closest thing you could ever have to a real sister, and it represents inner sister. Naruto explained. How about it? She's been by your side all your life and, like a sister, can offer you advice and her opinion when you need it. Do you like the name Isis? I'm speaking to your other voice, not you, Sakura. When Sakura heard her inner voice say, yes, I like that name, she felt a tickle on her head. According to Sakura, she likes it. Naruto nods and says, all right, then since you two work as a team, I'm going to train you both. You both die if one of you passes away. You both depend on one another. Now, keep in mind that I suggested you try moving the hairpins in your hair. Isis should work on that. Then this is a test to determine whether I can teach her some of the other things I want to try. She should be able to shape and use chakra, I suppose, because she is a being of chakra rather than a physical body. Could you please try to move the chakra through Sakura's hair so that her hairpins move for me, Isis? Although it will initially be challenging, it should function similarly to how Sakura completed the tree climbing exercise. Sakura replied, She agrees and will try it, but she wants to know what you think you could teach her. Naruto replied, "Remember last night when I made you move like a puppet?" Naruto remarked, "That's called chakra strings," as Sakura flushed and scowled at him. Soon as puppeteers are trained ninjas who only use chakra strings to attack with their own puppets. If my theory is correct, we could teach her how to move weapons by using chakra strings, or you could even create a puppet for her to use to aid in your combo. I will also work on teaching her chakra writing and some sealing. If she demonstrates that she is capable of doing so, I have a few things planned, but not much else. She would be an excellent partner for you because you would know that someone is always looking out for you. Isis wants to know if you really think she could do all that. Sakura's eyes widened, and she thought, "You stuttered, Isis." "Of course I do," said Naruto. "Isis needs your assistance to boost your shared chakra reserves if she is to truly accomplish all of that. Sakura, I believe in her just as much as I believe in you. For this reason, I'm going to apply a seal to you that will continuously absorb 1% of your chakra, increasing the rate at which your body produces chakra and accelerating your recovery from chakra exhaustion." "So I'm getting 3 seals then," Sakura remarked. "6. But the other 3 will have to wait until you've completed a specific amount of training," Naruto stated. "Now, Sakura, I need you to remove your shirt so I can finish the sealing before I start training you." Sakura let her eyes enlarge and let out a what. With a sigh, Naruto stated, "I must apply the weight seal to your upper right arm and the chakra-resistant seal to your left upper arm. The chakra-draining seal must be placed on your stomach. The other 2 must be placed on your hands, and the third, which I haven't yet disclosed, must be placed in the center of your back. This is another aspect of your training because a male bandit might rip your shirt off if you fight with him. In this case, you would try to cover yourself rather than fight, which would give them an opportunity to capture you and rape you. It will be used against you unless you decide to overcome your modesty and become accustomed to wearing little to no clothing around men. Now that I like you, there was nothing stopping me from having sex with you this morning, but if I ever get the chance, Sakura, I want to do it with your consent." "You said it yourself. How can I trust you?" Sakura asked. Naruto sighed and remarked, "Sakura, I had my first kill when I was 6 years old. My sponsor had found a missing ninja who had kidnapped a female Hyuga for her bloodline, and he raped her before cutting out her eyes. My sponsor forced me to use mind jutsu to see the memories of the Hyuga woman as she was being raped before he had me see the memories of the guy who had her eyes cut out. I can't stand rapist Sakura, especially after the woman who had her eyes cut out asked me to kill her to put an end to her suffering. I still feel horrible for killing her, but I feel absolutely nothing for killing him. That is why I want to become Hokage. Sakura, I want to keep Konoha's residents safe from those who profit from the suffering of others, especially those I care about." Sakura said, "Oh God, I'm so sorry." Naruto, with her mouth shut and a sad expression on her face. "Don't, Sakura," Naruto said, raising his hands, and she stopped, saying, "I didn't mean to. I made the decision to put an end to other people's suffering." Does it get any easier?" asked Sakura. "It's my job, Sakura," Naruto remarked, "but sometimes it does and sometimes it gets worse. It's likely that in order to put an end to other people's suffering, Sasuke, you, and I will all need to kill again during this mission. You haven't seen everyone else in this place. Tazuna may be the wealthiest person on the island, aside from those who work for Gato, based on my reconnaissance. Compared to the rags that some of the people here are compelled to wear, even my orange clothes appear to be in good condition. Gato is not, in my opinion, a very honorable man to pay Zabuza since he didn't kill us the first time. It's likely that he will turn on Zabuza again, if he hasn't already, and then either use his mercenaries to pursue us or another ninja who has gone missing." Sakura's eyes widened and she said, "You don't really think that, do you?" "Sakura, I may have pulled pranks and hidden my skills, but I would never lie to someone about the danger they're in," Naruto said, stepping forward and placing his hand beneath Sakura's chin while staring into her eyes. "Why do you care about me?" Sakura asked, squinting her eyes. "Is it because, as you say, Sasuke is a trophy and I am not?" "I'll tell you what," Naruto said, "I will not respond to that query. I'm going to do that since I explained to you how most relationships start. I understand that you don't really care about my mystery and that I wouldn't have a chance with you if I just came out and told you everything. Because I was giving you what you believed to be me on a silver platter and you didn't have to work for it. That's why you've always rejected me in the past. Half the fun is in the chase. You will need to earn them. If you wish to learn more about me, I'll give you a training objective every time you truly accomplish my goal. I'll let you ask me one question, and I'll give you an honest response. But only in the shortest amount of time, so you have to be sure what you're asking me now that I've begun to show you who I am. Let's see if we have a chance." Sakura replied, "You really think I will fall in love with you?" "Maybe I do, Maybe I don't, Naruto said. Time will tell. He flashed through hand signs and said, Mokuton. Bamboo forest, now. A number of bamboo poles erupted from the ground, and Naruto grabbed 2 of them before yelling, catch. The 2 poles were 4 feet long. They were caught by Sakura, who asked, what's this? The academy doesn't teach very good weapon skills, Naruto remarked. Recall the moment when Kakashi used his kunais to battle Zabuza with his sword. You would be killed if you attempted to use a kunai at this moment the way he did, because your hands would be shaken by the initial blow and you would lose your grip. When a stone strikes bamboo, it behaves like water in order to teach you how to touch up your hands and hold onto a weapon in close combat. The bamboo will make you feel the force of striking, as Isis works on chakra control with your hair. You and I will spar while standing on the side of a tree, using the tree climbing exercise to help you increase your chakra reserves. Now take off your shirt so I can apply those seals to you. Do I really have to take my shirt off? Sakura asked with a sigh. As Naruto put it, I've already explained why, so do it. You're still covered in wrappings, so why were you so worried? Asked Naruto as Sakura scowled and started to undo the buttons on her shirt before removing it to reveal her wrapped chest. Nothing's visible to me. Hell, this morning I saw more. You saw more than I wanted you to see, Sakura remarked. There will be occasions during missions when you won't be able to conceal yourself behind a tree or bush to change your clothes, Naruto remarked. You might as well get used to being seen nude by others. After Sakura sighed, Naruto approached and touched her left upper arm. Sakura briefly experienced a strange sensation before flinching. As he performed the one on her right arm and then her stomach, Naruto uttered the words, 1 down, 5 to go. Sakura stated, my mom is going to freak out when she sees these. Sakura's eyes widened as she saw hundreds of drawings, and she asked, what are those? Naruto grinned, reached into his jacket, and took out a scroll, saying, I had a friend of mine who was an artist design these for me. Special tattoos that are intended to transfer from this scroll onto skin and blend with seals to conceal them, Naruto stated. I can't conceal the 2 on your arm because you need to see them to adjust them and make sure you don't hurt yourself by accident, but I can conceal the ones on your stomach and the one I'm placing on your back. Simply select your preferred option and let me know if you would like it on the front or back in order to conceal the seals. I will then transfer them onto you. This will make you look like a badass, and you can boast to Ino about making her envious. Sakura sneered at Naruto and remarked, you've been planning this for a long time, haven't you? Naruto was saying, I had to do something to keep my mind occupied while I watched Mizuki for 3 years. Sakura sighed and asked, why are there so many fox designs on that scroll? After glancing at the scroll. My friend has a demonic sense of humor, Naruto remarked. What ones do you think I should get? Sakura inquired. Those on the front and this one on the back. Naruto pointed to a vine with cherry blossoms on it after glancing at the scroll and pointing to a pair of glowing green eyes. Sakura inquired, why the eyes? The other one had already crossed my mind, but why those? According to Naruto, since that seal is designed to help increase your chakra to help you in Isis, I thought that by having those eyes you could say it's Isis watching out for you. Okay, do it, Sakura said, biting her lip. 10 minutes later, Sakura had a seal on her stomach concealed beneath a pair of green eyes and one on each arm, and a seal on her back concealed beneath a vine tattoo featuring cherry blossoms. As she completed re-putting her shirt on, Sakura remarked, so what now? Sakura grabbed the 2 he had previously given her, and Naruto said, now we spar. He was holding a bamboo pole. Sakura became anxious and asked, what if I hurt you? As Naruto walked backwards up a tree. Then I'll ask you a free question. Naruto said, it is your responsibility to remain on the side of this tree for 30 minutes straight in order to receive a question. We will take a 10-minute break from sparring. If you are knocked off, lose your weapons, or run out of chakra during that time, you will need to complete 10 jumping jacks, 10 sit-ups, 10 squats, and 10 laps around this clearing. After that, we will begin anew. You have 30 minutes until noon. Practice your chakra control exercise. Isis time is wasting, so get up here now. With a gulp, Sakura climbed a few feet up the tree, and Naruto, 10 feet above her, said, ready. When Sakura nodded, he said, then let's begin. He then swung at her, but she blocked it with one staff and screamed, dropping the staff before being struck in the side. She then dropped her staff from Naruto's grasp and fell to the ground. Start your 10-minute punishment, Sakura, and we'll start again, Naruto sighed. Sakura gave him a fierce look and remarked, that hurt. You never said you would hit me or that you would use so much force. Naruto replied, Sakura, that was as light as I can swing. Sakura, I'm taking it easy on you, but an enemy wouldn't. It's not just your hands that need pain resistance, it's your entire body, and trust me, you will gain that resistance, and you got 8 minutes left to finish your punishment. Sakura scowled, stood up, and started the exercises. Sakura glared at Naruto when he said, "You got 30 seconds to rest before you got to get back up here to try it again." Sakura was panting when she finished. As midday drew near, Sakura was clutching her sides and spat out, "I hate you." Naruto approached her and made Sakura cry as he picked her up in bridal style, saying, "I know, you told everyone on our team that when Kakashi asked you what you hate." "What are you doing?" asked Sakura. Naruto replied, "It's time for your next training. I've found a natural hot spring not too far from here. The water will help relieve some of the soreness you feel, but I'm going to teach you how to walk on water." For example, Sakura stated, "I don't have a bathing suit." Naruto replied, "Then either get wet in the cloths you're in or strip them, it's your choice." "You just want to see me naked, pervert," Sakura remarked. Naruto replied, "Maybe, but my training is real. We're here. This is just like the tree climbing exercise. Too much chakra and you will blow off, not enough and you will sink. You got until sunset to last 30 minutes on top of the water. You didn't last 30 minutes on the tree. So let's see if you can hear," Naruto said as he sat Sakura down on her feet and walked out onto the water. Sakura had noticed a 20-foot wide pond with steam emanating from it. "How hot is the water?" Sakura asked, glancing at the water. Naruto replied, "You know that one we had to clean that one time, that hot." "Great. If I go back to Tazuna with wet cloths, then how will I explain it?" Sakura said, flinching. Naruto replied, "My primary element is wind, so I can use it to dry your cloths before we leave." Sakura replied, "What about when Tazuna tells Kakashi-sensei that I wasn't there all day?" Naruto replied, "Tazuna thinks you came back hours ago from your patrol and left again twice already. I've got it covered." After placing one foot on the water and testing it for a few seconds, Sakura said, "Fine." She then placed her other foot on the water and continued testing until she succeeded. Naruto remarked, "Good, now walk across it for 30 minutes, after she had been standing on the water for 3 minutes. Sakura scowled, stepped forward, and plunged in. She was red when she surfaced, but Naruto was unable to determine whether it was from embarrassment, rage, or the water, so he covered his mouth to prevent himself from laughing. "She's exhausted, boss. We patrolled the area several times, making sure we didn't miss anything on both the north and south side of the bridge," Tazuna said as he and Naruto were making their way back toward the house when a cage-bun Shin carrying the real Sakura emerged from the woods with Sakura dozing in his arms. Once Sakura had defeated both clones, the real Naruto shifted through the memories and said, "Come on, old man." He also thought, "Good job, Sakura." After Naruto, Tazuna, and Sakura returned to Tazuna's house, Kakashi was reading a book on the couch when the door opened. He looked up to see Sakura sleeping and asked, "What happened?" Naruto was saying, "Sakura exhausted herself helping patrol the area around the bridge." Kakashi responded, "Why were you patrolling the area around the bridge?" According to Naruto, since Gato hired Zabuza, Sakura and I was worried that Zabuza or his partner might have put traps on or under the bridge to either destroy it or kill Tazuna, so we did several patrols with my cage-bun Shin helping out as well. We made at least one of us was there at all times. "And what if one of you got in trouble?" asked Kakashi. To which Naruto replied, "Kage-bunshin sensei." Kakashi replied, "Kage-bunshin aren't the answer to everything, Naruto." Naruto replied, "But it's the best thing I've got that I can use safely." Taking a deep breath, Kakashi said, "Take Sakura up to her room and get you something to eat." As he carried Sakura upstairs, Naruto uttered the words, "Hi sensei." When Sakura woke up the following morning, she was in her room at Tazuna's house and asked herself, "How did I get back here?" She discovered a note on the nightstand while searching the room, and she read, "To your sister and Isis, take 40 minutes rather than 30 to do your hair the way I instructed you to do it on our last day together. Remember to work out your shoulders the way I instructed. Don't forget the area I treated on your back. Work that spot in the morning and channel some of the energy I was constantly discussing with you. You never know, maybe doing so will help you get rid of some of your pains. Love, your enigmatic companion Kage." As she opened the jar of pain cream she unsealed from the seal on her back, Sakura's eye twitched as she read the note and thought, "Asshole, whoa, I recognize that stuff. That's the pain cream that the Naras make from plants Ino family grow. Thanks, Naruto." She saw Kakashi at the table with Sasuke, Naruto, and the Tazuna family when she descended the stairs, and she greeted them with, "Good morning." "Morning to you too," Naruto said. "How did I get back here?" Sakura inquired. Naruto was saying, "You passed out after that last patrol. I'm proud of you. You kept going. Wanting to prove you're just as much a part of this team and a great kunoichi since you felt bad only guarding Tazuna when Sasuke Teme and me were freeing Kakashi-sensei." Sakura flushed, and after Sasuke examined her, Kakashi remarked, "You don't have to prove yourself, Sakura. Remembering what she had been told the day before, Sakura frowned and said, "You may not think so, but I do." She also thought, "Yeah, I don't have to because I'm just useless and going to be discarded." "Here, Sakura, eat you something," Naruto said, picking up a fruit basket filled with apples. "One of my clones found these apples yesterday." Tazuna replied, "I still don't know how you found them. I mean it, I've lived on this island nearly my entire life and I've never seen an apple tree here, and you claim to have found an entire clearing full of them." Naruto replied, "Well, it was just a couple of trees in a single clearing, but they are there. I was surprised when my clone found them." Sakura grabbed an apple and thought, "You grew them, didn't you?" She immediately started eating one along with the rice that Tsunami had prepared, and as she took a bite, her eyes widened and she exclaimed, "Delicious." "I don't want any of you taking any unnecessary risks," Kakashi said after breakfast. "Sasuke, have you finished the tree climbing yet?" Sasuke clenched his fist and turned his head away, saying, "HN." Kakashi glanced at Sakura and Naruto before saying, "I want to remind you all our mission is to protect Tazuna until the bridge is finished." Naruto stated, "We know sensei and we are doing the best we can to do that." Kakashi exclaimed, "I can't blame them because it is a good idea." He replied, "Alright, just watch each other's back, focus on the task at hand, and if trouble appears, grab Tazuna and retreat to here." As Sasuke hurried off, all three genin were saying, "Hi sensei." "I think we should do what we did yesterday, Sakura," said Naruto as they stood at the door after Tazuna said goodbye to his family. "There's no guarantee that someone didn't do something to the bridge last night, plus, Gato might have someone watch the bridge since Zabuza failed." Tazuna replied, "You know, when I first saw you I thought you were a short idiot with the way you dress, but you've surprised me more and more, Naruto." "Thanks, old man, but it's part of the job. Deception is a ninja's greatest tool, do you agree, Sakura-chan?" Naruto said, rubbing his head. Sakura nods, and Naruto says, "Then let's split up like we did yesterday." He transforms two of the four Kage Bunshin into Sakura, and then the three groups separate once more. After they parted ways once more, Sakura asked, "So why do I have to do 40 minutes instead of 30 when I didn't even make it to 20 yesterday?" As she arrived at the woods with the Kage Bunshin. The Naruto Kage Bunshin replied, "Because if you had figured out the real secret of these exercises, you would have realized you could have made it 30 minutes on the tree if you hadn't have had to start over so much from losing your weapon and you used chakra when you were doing the exercise punishments that used up your reserves. Now you know the drill. I can't teach you anything else until you can stay on a tree for an hour and on top of water for an hour. Right now you made it 15 minutes on a tree and 10 minutes on water. Also, all your exercise went up to 20 of each while your break time went to 15 minutes instead of 10. Sakura sighed as the Kage Bunshin said, "Now before we begin, I hadn't planned to do this yet because I wanted you to be able to do it yourself, but I'm going to have to use a forbidden jutsu on you to help your training." "What? Why do you need to use a forbidden jutsu on me?" Sakura asked, blinking. Naruto stated, "Because Kakashi-sensei is suspicious of us and he might try to get answers from you or me separately to verify what we are actually doing. What I am going to do is use a modified Kage Bunshin no jutsu I call Mimic no Jutsu to create Kage Bunshin of you. Like a regular Kage Bunshin, when they are dispelled you will get the knowledge back from them, but it won't cost you any chakra to make them. It will cost me. The problem is this is going to give you one huge fucking headache and most likely knock you out when they dispel. That is why we are only going to use this jutsu once and I'm going to give you a huge amount of training for one day." Sakura replied, "But how would this help us with Kakashi-sensei?" According to Naruto, because one of them will head to the bridge to join the real me so you can meet the workers and know what's going on there, while two more will be joining my other Kage Bunshin to patrol the area so you can show not only where the apples are I grew but also where all the places in the area that could be used to attack workers or the bridge. That way you can honestly answer Kakashi questions if he questions you." Sakura replied, "I think I understand, but if this is so useful for training, why don't we do it more than once?" Naruto replied, "Because this kind of training can kill you if you're not careful. Now are you ready?" Despite her nervousness, Sakura took a deep breath and nodded. Naruto then put his hand on her shoulder, and Sakura felt chakra spread throughout her body as he performed a half-hand seal and uttered the words, "Taju Mimic no Jutsu." When the smoke cleared, Sakura was astounded to see hundreds of copies of herself. Naruto removed his hand from her and uttered the words, "Taju Kage Bunshin no Jutsu." The clearing was once more covered in smoke, but when it cleared, hundreds of Naruto were present. As they started to be led away, each of Naruto's Kage Bunshin gently grasped Sakura's hand and said, "Come with me." 5 minutes later all that was left was the original Kage Bunshin and the real Sakura, and the K. "I'm almost out of chakra now." Boss wanted you to continue what you did yesterday with the staffs, but walk up the tree and hit the tree branches with them, since I won't be here to spar with you. Don't worry about water walking, instead boss wanted you to look at the book over there by that tree on human anatomy. He wants you to memorize the charts completely on page 37, which is the human skeleton, page 56, which is the joints of the human body, and page 112, which is the human muscle structure. With what the clones are going to teach you, it will help you greatly, Isis. The scroll there besides the book is a detailed explanation on how to create an exploding seal with chakra writing. You are to memorize it also because he will be testing your knowledge as well. Sakura questioned, how can he test Isis? Naruto replied, boss has a way to do it now. Do either of you have any questions about your training before I dispel? Sakura remarked, what if I need help? Naruto was saying, there are copies of you everywhere around you and me, just find one now. Anything else? Naruto said, good luck Sakura, Isis. I believe in you both, before he vanished into smoke after Sakura shook her head no. Sakura sighed and asked herself, why is he so off? Isis replied, do you mind? You're giving me a headache, besides he's not so bad. Sakura was thinking, funny, me giving you a headache and you don't think he's so bad because he knows about you and treats you like a person. According to Isis, unlike someone, Sakura wondered, can you blame me? It's because of you I might have to quit being a ninja, as well as why I probably can't be with Sasuke-kun. Isis replied, please, you and me both know that when we were working on the water walking yesterday we couldn't keep our focus because you wanted to prove Naruto was wrong about why you like Sasuke, and you couldn't find anything other than that one incident in the park that Naruto admitted was him. Huffing, Sakura reflected, I don't have to prove the baka wrong. Isis replied, then why are you still so upset over it if what he said doesn't matter? Sakura scowled before scaling a tree's side and starting to vent her annoyance on a few branches. That baka he slapped my butt. Wait, that wasn't me, that was a cage bun shin of me him. Sakura said, looking at the two cane staffs in her hand, I'm holding these wrong, no wonder it hurts so bad when I struck those tree limbs. She changed how she was holding them, climbed back up the tree, and tried it again, thinking, that's actually a lot easier, that baka. Why didn't he tell me I was doing it wrong? 20 minutes later, she could no longer focus. As he dodged a blow from the Sakura clone on the bridge, Naruto grinned and recalled a cage bun shin he thought, and get punched by a pissed off Kunoichi for telling her she's wrong. I don't think so. He also said, baka, why did you not tell me I was doing it wrong? Naruto replied, you hit me. You dispel, you have a mission here to observe. Besides, I told you, if Sakura wants answers she's going to have to make it up to 40 minutes like I told her. Now go sit down and tell me if you can use that mind of yours to figure out which one of these guys isn't really here but a disguised cage bun shin while reading that scroll I gave you. If you can, then I'll give you one free question. The Sakura on the bridge stomped off and sat down on a crate, huffing, jerk, don't slap my ass. That was a memory of how to cause a leaf to float on each finger with chakra. Why would I need that? She thought as the real Sakura, who had been taking a break to replenish her chakra, suddenly grabbed her head 10 minutes later. Sakura was massaging her temples at midday when Naruto entered the clearing and greeted her, hey Sakura, how's it going? I've got a headache, I've been getting different memories every 10 minutes all day, Sakura said, glaring up at him. Naruto replied, I know, have you figured out what they are for yet? Sakura sighed and replied, I got a few ideas but I'm not sure. You got me learning to focus my chakra more precisely but I haven't figured out why yet. Naruto stated, I've had you do different exercises that cause you to focus your chakra into smaller and stronger beams of chakra. You and Isis are using your chakra right but also wrong. Sakura inquired, what do you mean? Naruto replied, do you think you really have to send chakra to your entire foot to make it stick to a tree, or do you need just one strong connection? By focusing my chakra only on one spot connected, then I don't waste as much chakra keeping stuck to a tree or standing on water, Sakura said, blinking and her eyes widening. According to Naruto, and Isis doesn't have to send chakra to every hair in your head to make one of the hair clips move. She just has to focus on one single hair and reinforce it with chakra, just like I did when I made you dance. Sakura said, then why didn't you tell me before? With a frown. Naruto stated, because the more you use chakra the more your chakra reserves will grow. If I told you that, then yes, you could have already learned to use chakra right, but your chakra reserves would also be smaller than they are now. I would have waited to teach you that after you got more reserves, but when I spied on your training earlier I saw Isis was having trouble. She was able to get your hair to move a little but not much. Now she should be able to get more results, but now that you know the secret also I know you will start using the right way to use chakra, which means your reserves are still going to grow but not as fast. Sakura replied, so what do I do then? It's not like I'm going to keep using a flawed exercise. As he opened a sword, Naruto remarked, true, but that is why I got this. Sakura examined the weapon and saw that it was a short, double-edged sword with a black handle and a circle guard that was 2 inches wide. An image of what appeared to be a lion with a snake for a tail was printed on the blade itself. "This is Chimera, it's something I've just finished making for you," Naruto remarked upon seeing the image. With wide eyes, Sakura uttered, "You made that for me?" Nodding, Naruto continued, "Chimera is not a normal sword, Sakura. It has several special seals on it that will give you a huge advantage. Even if you and I don't ever get together, I want this sword to become a family heirloom for you and your children." With a flush, Sakura exclaimed, What does it do?" "The first is that even if this sword is broken, it can repair itself by having blood on it," Naruto said with a gentle smile. Sakura became slightly irritated and exclaimed, "What?" Naruto replied, "You know that big sword Zabuza has? Well, it's one of a set that was made originally by my clan before they were stolen by the Hidden Mist village. Each of the swords in the set belong to one of the 7 swordsmen of the Mist. Zabuza sword absorbs the iron out of the blood of its victims and uses it to repair itself. When Kakashi and Zabuza were having their final jutsu clash, I sort of replaced Zabuza's sword with a special cage bun shin that can't be dispelled unless I dispel it. I've copied the seal on Zabuza's sword and placed it on your sword, so no matter what happens in the future, your family heirloom can never be destroyed." As Sakura put it, "Oh, thank you." According to Naruto, that's not all Chimera does. It has 3 other seals on it. The first seal is one you have on your body already, the gravity seal. Sakura looked up and said, "Why does it have a gravity seal?" "Oh wait, I think I get it. By increasing the weight of the sword I strengthen my arms, so when I dispel the weight I can move it faster, right?" Naruto replied, "Yes and no. You see, the seal is designed in a way that anything it touches automatically has twice its normal gravity. Now imagine you're in a fight and you cut your enemy, what would happen?" Sakura replied, "The sword would make my enemy feel like they weigh twice as much." Naruto replied, "And if you cut your enemy twice, what would happen?" Following some contemplation, Sakura uttered the words, It would make them weigh 4 times their normal weight." 3 times, Naruto said, nodding. According to Sakura, 6 times their weight. Naruto nodded his head. 8 times their weight. It doubles the gravity on anything it touches. The seal only lasts 10 minutes as a safety precaution, but that 10 minutes can switch the speed of battle quickly and would make any enemy you face want to attack you at long range instead of getting close. I call that seal Chimera Body." Sakura replied, "That's amazing. What are the other 2 seals?" Naruto stated, "The next seal I call Chimera Tail. I call it because, as you can see, Chimera has a snake for a tail and snake have venom that can make people weaker. The second seal is a version of the seal you have on your stomach, but it's a long-range seal." "A long-range seal? What do you mean?" Sakura asked. Naruto explained, "What I mean is that if you use your chakra by sending it into Chimera and send a chakra string out of Chimera and link the chakra string to someone else, the closer the person is to you, the faster their chakra is drained, and you can literally drain them dry of their chakra over the time you are facing them, so that will help you with long-distance attacks." "Can someone stop the chakra strings?" asked Sakura. Naruto replied, "They could, but that is where Chimera's bite comes in." "What does Chimera's bite do?" inquired Sakura. Naruto stated, "The final seal is also a long-range seal but goes with the other 2 seals I want to give you. You see, the other 2 seals I am going to give you is a summoning seal that will allow you to summon Chimera to your hand no matter where it is unless it is sealed away somewhere. Chimera Bite is also a summoning seal. What happens is you connect a chakra string to your enemy and then simply let go of Chimera." "Let go of it? Why would I let go of it?" Sakura said, blinking. Naruto explained, "Because once a chakra string is connected to a person and you let go, the summoning seal will summon Chimera to the location of the chakra string and cut the person you're fighting, doubling their gravity and shocking them." "Now what would you do if a sword suddenly appears stabbing you or cutting you?" "I guess I would grab it and either throw it away or hold onto it to make sure it couldn't attack me again," Sakura said after giving it some thought. Naruto replied, "Right, that's what most enemies would do, but you can then use the seal on your hands to summon Chimera back, even if someone is holding onto it, and then you can use the chakra Chimera stole." Sakura declared, "I can use the chakra that Chimera stole." Naruto stated, "Sakura, the vanishing blade trick would work only as long as an enemy is not expecting it. It would give you a quick advantage against ninja, but Chimera isn't an end-all beat-all weapon. When I say you can use its chakra, I don't mean you absorb it. There are people in this world whose chakra can be poisonous because of a bloodline or a jutsu or other things. Because of this, I didn't want you to be poisoned by their chakra, so I made it where when Chimera absorbs someone's chakra while you are holding onto it, a gravity field will appear around you thanks to the gravity seal on the sword." "What good would a gravity field around me be?" Sakura asked, squinting. "Even if you are unable to hit an enemy, if they get close enough, their speed will drop quickly, giving you a chance to surprise them," Naruto stated. the gravity field will not affect you because there is a counter seal inside the handle that cancels the effect on who holds it. However, the more chakra Chimera gains, the larger the gravity field will get. Sakura replied, so the best betted to just hold onto it and drain their chakra. Sakura, you're only considering fighting one person. Imagine if you were fighting multiple targets, said Naruto with a sly smile. Through Chimera, you and Isis can collaborate to use chakra strings to target multiple enemies at once. Keep in mind that the more chakra strings you attach to an enemy, the faster their chakra will be depleted and the larger the gravity field surrounding you will become. You could become the goddess of the flashblade. Sakura, to have Chimera hit a person repeatedly, you could send them several chakra strings. If you're targeting a big group of people after breaking the first chakra string, it will proceed to the next, and then the next, and so on, until all of the chakra strings are gone. With wide eyes, Sakura uttered, like the Yondaime Hiraishin jutsu. Naruto replied, yes, just like that, except instead of you being summoned it would be your sword while you can still fight in other ways. According to Sakura, amazing, thank you Naruto. Chimera is still Sakura. She is merely an assistant. Naruto stated it can be used against you and defeated in different ways. Sakura questioned, what do you mean? Naruto replied, that is something you will have to figure out yourself because there are too many ways out there and I don't know them all. You will just have to learn from experience. Sakura said, I see. With a frown, Naruto stated, there is a way to prepare for those ways though. Sakura looked up at Naruto and said, there is. Naruto nods as he says, train yourself anyways. I am giving you Chimera because what I want to do is use chakra to hold Chimera to your back like Zabuza was doing with his sword. By learning to keep Chimera there constantly, your reserves will increase while your control will get better. I don't want Kakashi or Sasuke to know about Chimera though, so when you are done for the day I want you to seal Chimera into the seal on your lower back, okay? Good, Naruto said after Sakura nodded. Now hold out your hands so I can place the summon seals on your hands. Sakura extended both of her hands, and Naruto touched her left wrist with his left. Sakura flinched, and Naruto then did the same with her right. Sakura noticed a quarter-sized seal on her wrist and remarked, I thought you were going to place them on my hand. Naruto stated, the summon seal is located on the handle of the blade. If I placed it actually in your hand it would fall out of your hand before you could grab it. By placing it on your wrist that will give you the time your reflexes need to grab it. Also this way it won't mess with you using jutsu or chakra strings with your fingers. Now try and summon Chimera by sending chakra to the seal on one of your wrist. Sakura focused for a moment, and 10 seconds later, Chimera was gone from Naruto's grasp. Sakura was shocked to see it before it dropped to the ground. Sakura blushed when Naruto laughed and retorted, don't laugh at me. Naruto replied, sorry anyways, why don't you practice summoning it for a while because you need to get it quicker. Go from one hand to the other. Sakura nods and begins to call it forth. Naruto watched her for the next 20 minutes before declaring, that's enough for now. Now I'm not going to be able to tell you everything you need to learn. Sakura, you need to figure out how to do things yourself without having your hand held. Sakura glanced away as his cheeks became slightly red as he said, now don't be angry about that because your chakra reserves have almost doubled what they were when we left Konoha. One of my instructors told me that you can learn more from a mistake than you can from just being told how to do something. That is actually one of the biggest weakness Uchiha clan members had. Their bloodline allowed them to copy jutsu, but if they didn't practice them then Tier would be weaker than someone who actually practiced it and figured out how to manipulate it. Now what about the other things you learned from your Kage Bunshin? Sakura paused for a moment and replied, you started to teach me how to properly use two weapons at a time, showing me how to hold a weapon with one hand as well as how to swing it, but I see now it's so I can use Chimera in either hand, right? Very good, Naruto said, what else don't you know already? Sakura sighed. Naruto replied, just because I do doesn't mean you do. Now answer the question. Sakura replied, you gave me several lessons on trap skills. Naruto stated, never underestimate the power of a trap. Sakura, I don't care how badass someone is, a good trap is a great equalizer and anything can be used as a trap. More ninja have died from traps than they have from ninjutsu. Sakura said, is that really true? As her eyes widened a little. Naruto replied, yeah, ninjutsu are flashy, powerful, and cool, but they are useless if they are dodged or countered. A trap could kill an enemy even after you're dead. I can't tell you the number of times a ninja has slapped a stack of exploding tags on themselves and charged at an entire squad of enemy ninja when they have been poisoned, exhausted, injured, and out of chakra and end up claiming a victory by killing the entire enemy squad, all because they underestimated the power of a trap. Do you know how annoying it is to have you talk to me like that? Sakura sighed. Naruto replied, probably as annoying as it is that I've taught you more in 2 days than Kakashi-sensei has in over 2 months. Sakura scowled before responding, yeah. To Sakura's surprise, Naruto took out a scroll and opened it to reveal roasted fish, steamed vegetables, and oven-baked bread. "Where did you get this?" Sakura asked. Naruto opened the aspirin bottle and said, "I caught the fish, grew the vegetables, and ground the wheat after growing it to make the bread. Here's some aspirin for the headache, and the food will help you regain some of your strength as well as help give you the calories you need so you can actually form some muscles. And don't give me that diet shit or I'll force feed you. You're beautiful already and you're a kunoichi. You'll burn off any extra weight you might gain through exercise." Sakura muttered to herself, grabbed the food, and put a tiny piece of fish in her mouth. Her eyes widened as she tasted it, and she exclaimed, "You made this?" Sakura took another bite that was larger than the previous one and said, "It's delicious." Naruto nodded. Naruto replied, "I'm glad you like it. You got until 1 p.m. to finish eating before the cage bunshin start to dispel every 5 minutes. It will be more chakra control, traps, and weapons. Do the book and scroll like I said earlier, and also practice summoning your weapon and unsealing it from your back. If you can try and get it to summon the instant it pops out of the seal on your back, I'll get you when Tazuna calls it a day," as he began to walk away. "Wait, would you like to eat with me?" Sakura asked. Naruto laughed and replied, "I'd like to, but I can't right now. I can't until I tell you some of my secrets, and you have to earn the right to learn them. Sorry." "Fine," Sakura sighed and said, "I'm full. Eat it all." "Sakura, you missed lunch and dinner yesterday and you will miss dinner tonight from passing out, so you need the energy," Naruto said, scowling as he examined the still mostly full plate. Sakura looked at Naruto and said, "Why are you such a jerk sometimes? I mean, you first broke into my room, forced me to strip, destroy my faith in Kakashi-sensei, tell me I'm going to be discarded and stripped of my rank and status, forbidden from being with someone I love, all because of something I have no choice about. Then you give me an impossible choice to make where I have to become basically your puppet, forcing me through whatever you want and treat me like I'm some kind of child who gets gifts for being good." After staring at Sakura for a few moments, Sakura cursed herself and thought, "Me and my big mouth." Naruto then turned and began to leave, saying, "Grab Chimera and follow me." Sakura grabbed the sword and started to follow Naruto after gulping when she heard the dead tone in Naruto's voice. "Damn it, my mom was right. I need to think before I speak." When they reached the edge of a forest 20 minutes later, Sakura noticed what appeared to be a warehouse and exclaimed, "What's going on, Naruto?" According to Naruto, that building is where Gato holds the people his men have kidnapped and are being sold as slaves. There is only 3 men here, 2 Runin and Gato's breaker. When Sakura became anxious, she exclaimed, "Breaker, what's that?" Naruto glanced at her and stated, "The breaker is the man responsible for breaking the wills of the slaves. He's the man who beats them, starves them, tortures them, and rapes them in order to make them docile enough to be sold to the highest bidder." The eyes of Sakura widened. "This is your chance. You want me to treat you as an equal, to quit destroying your world. Then all you have to do is act like a kunoichi for once. Your mission is to free the slaves in there after you eliminate the breaker." As Sakura went pale, she exclaimed, "What?" Inside the building, someone yelled, "Hey, did you hear that? Check it out." As 2 men emerged from the building, Naruto remarked, "Good job, Sakura. They know you here now thanks to your mouth. Look, here they come." Sakura noticed the 2 men scanning their surroundings before they were killed a moment later, a kunai piercing their eyes. Turning, she noticed Naruto lowering his arms and said, "You don't want me treating you like a child, then it's time you act like an adult. Breakers have specific orders if trouble starts and they can't contain it, then they're to kill everyone who can identify them or link them back to their employer. Because of you alerting those men to our presence, the people inside that building have only a few minutes to live. Their lives are in your hands now. If they die, it's your fault. You will be a killer for abandoning them if you refuse to do anything, or you will be a killer if you do save them. Either way, you will be a killer. The question is, whose blood are you willing to spill? The blood of the innocent or the blood of the guilty? This is your battle, not mine. Choose." As he disappeared among the leaves. As Sakura gazed at the location where Naruto had been impersonating a fish out of water, she thought, "No, this can't be he what?" Isis replied, "Add a few more words in there and you might have a proper sentence, big mouth." It occurred to Sakura, "Shut up, Isis, I don't need you right now." "Fine, then you're on your own," Isis said with a frown. Sakura, recognizing what she had thought, "Damn it, me and my big mouth again." Isis, "Hey please, I'm sorry. Fuck, what am I going to do now? If I run, then the people in there will die, but if fight, I might kill someone or die myself." As Sakura jumped down from the tree and began to move toward the building, she heard more screams of pain coming from inside. She bit her lip, tightened her grip on the sword, and thought, "Kami, help me." Sakura was startled out of her reverie when she heard a scream of pain from inside the building followed by another, and she paled. "Oh god, I waited too long. They're dying. He's killing them and it's my fault. I got to do something." Sakura took a deep breath before entering the building. The smell almost made her gag, and she thought, what is that smell? It's so... but was interrupted by the sound of another scream. Sakura made up her mind and started to move forward as quietly as she could. As she entered, she noticed a number of cages with people inside. Sakura saw a large man with a butcher's knife grab a man and cut off his head, which made her throw up, thinking, I can't do this. The sensation of something striking her chest interrupted her thoughts once more, and she noticed that her clothes were covered in blood. The object that struck her chest was the head of the recently killed man. With her eyes wide, she didn't notice the large man approaching her until he was directly in front of her, saying, well, what do we have here? Fresh meat? Sakura jumped back, raised her sword in front of her, and uttered the words, get back, in a tremulous voice. You can't even hold it, much less use it in a real fight, bitch. Now come here and squeal for me. I'll make you bleed like a pig before I slaughter you. The man laughed and said, stupid girl, you think I'm scared of you because of a sword? Then, he charged forward faster than Sakura thought possible and used his blade to knock the sword away before kicking her in the stomach, causing her to gasp for air as she fell backwards onto the ground. When Sakura saw him, she turned and started to run as fast as she could. The big man in front of the door said, sorry little girl, you're not getting out of here. With his free hand, he grabbed the door and shut it, then turned the lock on the door with the key and took the key out. Now that she was officially terrified, Sakura started to back away while glancing around and stammered, you don't scare me. The man replied, of course I do. I get paid to make people scared of me. You're nothing but a weak little girl who thinks because she has a heat she's some hot shit. You're no ninja. You're a pathetic excuse for a wannabe who should never have been allowed to even put that heat on. I'm surprised my arm is tired from holding my weapon for so long, weakling. Sakura's rage overcame her fear, and she clenched her fist and charged at the man as quickly as she could, saying, I'll show you how wrong you are. When she got close enough, the man punched her in the face, sending her flying backwards onto the ground. He then started laughing and dropped his blade on the ground, saying, you'll show me, huh? I won't even need this. After hearing the man laugh, Sakura, who was bleeding from a nose punch, clenched her fist in anger and was ready to get up to try again when she noticed Chimera standing a few feet ahead of her. A smirk started to show on her face as her eyes widened, and she thought, of course. Chimera hit his weapon, causing its weight to double, tiring his arm out him. She rolled forward, grabbed Chimera, and screamed as she turned to face the man and saw where he was. She then charged forward and attempted to strike him with wild, crazy swings, but he ducked, and after a few moments she managed to get a cut on him. The man's expression instantly changed to one of, what the hell? Panting, Sakura remarked, I see Chimera is doing its job. As he charged at her at a slightly slower pace, the man scowled, started to perspire a little, and said, whatever bitch, whatever you did won't matter when I get my hands on you. Sakura watched the man, who was panting a little and glaring at her, and thought, bastard, how am I going to beat him? She jumped on a couple of crates, gaining some distance until she was on top of one and started to search the area for something to help her. He said, get down here, bitch, so I can make you scream in pain. When Sakura, who was still scanning the area, noticed multiple crates being secured in a rope net above the man, she remarked, I don't think so, asshole. She followed the rope net with her eyes and noticed that it was tied to a support beam close to her. She remembers Naruto saying, never underestimate the power of a trap. Sakura, I don't care how badass someone is, a good trap is a great equalizer and anything can be used as a trap. Her eyes suddenly widened. Sakura couldn't resist the grin that was starting to appear on her face. The man in front of her sighed and replied, what are you smiling about? You're so weak and tired you're about to pass out while I'm still strong enough to make you pay for all the trouble you caused me. Why else would you be hiding up there? Hate to tell you, but I'm about to put the drop on you. Sakura cut through the rope that was tied close to her to the support beam as she swiftly turned. Just as the crates fell on him, the man's eyes widened and he glanced up where the rope had gone. Sakura said, ha, take that, you bastard, I'm not so weak now, am I? Killed your fat ass, I killed you. As she started to realize what she had done, as blood splattered across the floor from beneath the crates. Sakura shuddered, thinking, no, Sakura's world went dark the next instant when Naruto appeared behind her, knocking her unconscious. He then looked at her sorrowfully and said, you really are a ninja now, Sakura. He then sealed Chimera into the seal on Sakura's back and shut up. Everyone turned to stare at Naruto as he said, hey Tazuna, we need to stop for the day. The Sakura clone was rising in smoke on the bridge. According to Tazuna, why, we are doing really good. Naruto stated, Sakura ran into one of Gado's men and killed him. We need to report to Kakashi sensei and inform him of the situation. Tazuna sighed, alright kid, let's go tell your sensei guys, we're stopping early today, same time tomorrow though. Taking Tazuna by the arm, Naruto started to guide him back to his home. They encountered another Naruto with Sakura en route, and when a smoke bomb detonated, Tazuna choked and coughed. There was only Naruto and Sakura when the smoke cleared, and Naruto said, "I really don't want you to know I left you with a clone while I went to Sakura, Tazuna." He also added, "Sorry about that, old man, my clone had that smoke bomb in his hand in case he was attacked with Sakura passed out. We need to head back now." "What's wrong with her? Is she injured? I see the blood on her clothes," Tazuna asked, nodding. According to Naruto, it's her first kill and she's in shock. Eyes widening, Tazuna said, "I'm sorry." As they made their way back in silence for the remainder of the journey, Naruto tried to sound indifferent by saying, "Don't worry about it, it's our job." Tsunami, who was folding laundry at the table when they entered the house, asked in a startled tone, "Dad, what are you doing here?" Before noticing that Sakura's clothes were covered in blood and exclaiming, "Oh my god, is she okay?" Naruto stated, "Something happened today and we need to speak with Kakashi-sensei, so we came back early." After hearing Tsunami and then Naruto's voice, Kakashi, who had been lying down upstairs, closed the book he was reading, got up, and used the crutches to get to the top of the stairs. "What happened, Naruto?" He asked. "What's wrong with Sakura and why are you returning early today?" Observing Sakura in Naruto's embrace. With the assistance of Kage Bunshin, Sakura and I were conducting our patrols once more when Sakura Patrol discovered a warehouse containing slaves. Naruto stated before he dispelled, "My Kage Bunshin ended up killing 2 Runin. My other patrol arrived just in time to witness Sakura murder a man who identified himself as a breaker. Because they were so close, Sakura fainted shortly afterward." Kakashi asked, "Why did you attack the warehouse?" as his eyes widened. According to Naruto, "We didn't. A scream caught our attention as we were just patrolling. As we looked into the scream, Sakura unintentionally spoke too loudly, and the guys heard her. They came out, and we started fighting." "You should have fled and returned to report," Kakashi said. "And more people would have died if we did," Naruto remarked. "They were employed by Gato, and I believe that he was concerned that we would discover his slave operations after Zabuza was unable to murder us. They were slaughtering the slaves inside of Sensei when we arrived. The warehouse contains multiple dead slave bodies. I made some Kage Bunshin to free the slaves after we killed them. We let innocent people die because they weren't our clients. What were we supposed to do? If so, Sensei, why in the world did we carry out our mission? Gato would undoubtedly pay more than he could, and old man Tazuna misled us about the mission. We are here because it is the right thing to do. Just as saving those people was the right thing to do." Tazuna and his family's terrified expressions are ignored. "You're right, Naruto, but you can't go off taking risk like that," Kakashi sighed. "Are you implying that trouble only arises when you seek it out?" asked Naruto. "Because you are a liar if you were. Even though I was just alive and did nothing to deserve it, I was always in trouble." Sighing once more, Kakashi uttered the words, "What's wrong with Sakura? Is she injured?" Naruto remarked, "I don't believe so. She's largely in shock. I believe." As he ascended the stairs, he said, "I got her out of there and brought her here to talk to her about her first kill, somewhere she might feel safe." "And what about your first kill?" asked Kakashi. As he passed Kakashi, who had followed Naruto into Sakura's room and watched him gently place Sakura on the bed before leaving and passing Kakashi, Naruto disregarded Kakashi's question. Kakashi replied, "Naruto, I don't know what you think you're doing, but..." After entering the restroom, Naruto declared, "I'm going to remove Sakura's bloody clothes and tend to any wounds she may have. If she wants, she can hit me later for being a pervert, but I don't mind." As he emerged from the restroom carrying a bowl of water and a wet washcloth, he said, "I would rather have her hate me than have her die from an untreated injury." Without using any hand signals, Naruto created a Kage Bunshin behind Kakashi and replaced him with the Kage Bunshin, who vanished in smoke as Naruto entered Sakura's room after Kakashi blocked his path. "You can't dismiss me, Naruto. You need..." Kakashi scowled. Naruto replied, "How can a man who's stuck living in the past tell me how to move on in the future?" With a blink, Kakashi asked, "What do you mean?" "I researched you and I know why you are always late," Naruto remarked. "You feel so sad about what you lost that you are unable to appreciate what you have while you are at the memorial stone. I've had the best person talk to me about killing, so I doubt you have anything to say that would make me feel better about it. When Gigi was discussing furballs with me, he brought it up. Would you mind leaving now? Sakura definitely does not want you to see her nude, and if she becomes upset with me for tending to her wounds, she needs someone to talk to about it, and unfortunately, you are that person." "But why are you taking her clothes off?" asked Kakashi. Naruto replied, "Because I don't know how much of this blood is hers or someone else's, Sensei, so I need to see how many injuries she actually has." Gritting his teeth, Kakashi remarked. I'm trusting you not to do anything, Naruto. That just shows how little you actually know about me, sensei, to even think I would do something like that, Naruto said, squinting his eyes. So leave now before I lose all regard for you. After closing the door with a sigh, Kakashi remarked, I'll be outside the door, Naruto. And hey, what was that chakra just now, Naruto? He scowled and asked, how does Naruto know a barrier jutsu? As he attempted to open the door but was unsuccessful. I'll explain the silence jutsu later, Naruto thought as he entered the room. Make sure you're not hurt now. After walking over and soaking the rag in the bowl of water, Naruto removed his jacket and placed it on the floor, where he knelt down to begin wiping the dirt and blood from Sakura's face. He winced when he noticed a slight bruise on her face. After pulling Sakura's dress over her head and undoing the buttons, Naruto took out a kunai and cut the bindings on her chest. He then took the wash rag he had placed back in the water bowl and started cleaning the blood and dirt off Sakura's back, arms, shoulders, and stomach. Gazing at Sakura's chest, Naruto grinned and pondered, I wonder how long she's going to keep pretending to be asleep. She's been awake since just before we returned here. He washed the rag again in the bowl of water and started to gently wash Sakura's breast and chest, causing her nipples to stand up as he sent chakra through the water and rag. He noticed Sakura biting her lip and thought, let's see how long it takes her to quit faking. He kept washing her while pretending to be innocent. Naruto removed her sandals and started washing Sakura's legs and feet after finishing with her chest, where her repeatedly cleaned nipples were painfully erect. However, as he proceeded up her legs, he sent chakra through the rag until Sakura clenched her fist, bit her lip, and tried to prevent herself from bucking her hips. She continued to act as though she was asleep while sneaking peeks at Naruto through her slightly parted eyelids. Putting the wash rag back in the bowl, Naruto grinned and remarked, Sakura, are you still having fun? Sakura's eyes widened and she turned to face Naruto in disbelief. Her face flushed red. I know you've been awake since before we got back to Dazuna, she said. Anyway, I've looked everywhere except what's covered by your shorts, and aside from some minor bruises where you were punched on the face and around your ribs where you were kicked, I don't see any injuries. Naruto stated. Many emancipated slaves are now thanking you for saving them because of the good you did against a larger and more powerful foe. Sakura asked, why did you do that? As she started to lose her blush. As Naruto put it, do what, leave me to, said Sakura. Naruto replied, Sakura, do you really think I left you alone? Who do you think set up that trap you used? Naruto said, that's right. As Sakura's eyes widened, even though I wasn't visible, I was there to assist you, and if you had truly needed my help, I would have jumped in to save you. But, said Sakura, but why didn't I kill him? Why did I force you to fight him? And why did I force you to kill him? Sakura, you've had low self-esteem since you were a young child, Naruto remarked. Instead of defending yourself alone, you needed Ino's assistance. You would have done that sooner as well if I had allowed it. Let me murder him while you remain. Sakura, you're better than that. I had faith in your ability. It's similar to a parent witnessing their child's first steps. Sakura, you had to learn to get up and go first on your own. You took your first genuine step toward becoming a kunoichi, even though I may have helped you get to your feet. I understand how you're feeling about killing that man right now, but I'll tell you the same thing that I was told when I killed my first person. I was instructed not to consider the life of the victim I killed. Instead, consider everyone I just rescued. There was nothing good about that man. He was a wicked man who acknowledged that he was paid to inflict pain on others. Is that man truly deserving of your sympathy? No, he died the same way he had lived. To harm and murder others. The sword determines your life and death. Instead of viewing yourself as a murderer, consider yourself a protector. Sakura replied, does it really make it easier to deal with killing? Sakura, your mother, imagine if it were her in those cages. Do you think it would matter why you were going to kill that guy? Naruto said after a brief period of silence. Every time I kill, I think that the person who died is one less person who can hurt the person who is most precious to me. That one less person could hurt my loved one. When I think that, I forget the illness and suffering I experience when I kill someone. The fact that the person I care about is alive and safe is all that matters to me. Sakura said, why do you like me so much? After glancing down and thinking, he's talking about me, I know it. Why not someone else instead of me? After a few moments, Naruto bit his lip and uttered, I was expelled from the orphanage the day after my 5th birthday. They feared me because of something my father had done to me on the day I was born. Anyway, as I mentioned, I was expelled and had nothing at all, literally, no food, no house, no one to look after me, for about 3 weeks. I was extremely hungry, cold, and exhausted, and I had hid behind a house between 2 trash cans to try to shield myself from the chilly wind. That's when I first met you. I had only been living on the streets for about 8 days. At that point your mother had asked you to take out the trash from the house I had hidden behind, and I can't recall what you asked me when you saw me. I remember that you giggled at me when my stomach growled, and your mother called you back inside. I closed my eyes, but you returned with a bowl of ramen and a small orange blanket, which you gave to me before rushing back inside. Sakura's eyes widened and she whispered, I don't remember. Naruto replied, it doesn't matter, but that was the day I fell in love with you. I thought of you as an angel who saved me, who protected me from the cold world, and who warmed my insides. That is why I wear orange and eat ramen so much. It was another 2 weeks before I first met Danzo, but by that time I had learned to get food out of the trash outside of the Akamichi family restaurant. But I could never forget the angel, her heavenly food, or the color of protection she gave me. Sakura replied, so all these years, all the time that people would laugh at you about the color orange or the fact you eat so much ramen, all of it was because of me. While staring down. It doesn't matter what I had to go through. Naruto declared I would go to hell if it meant I could see you smile, hear you laugh, and see how you looked at me that day with such care. Sakura laughed when she saw Naruto blush and remarked, that is the corniest and most romantic thing I have ever heard. Sakura said, Naruto, would you say it again? As Naruto flashed a genuine smile that was smaller than his usual one. With a bewildered expression, Naruto questioned, say what, Sakura-chan? Sakura replied, what you said when you pretended to be Sasuke-kun. When Naruto realized, he remarked, your foreheads are so big, it makes me want to kiss it. With a gentle smile, Sakura said, then do it. Sakura was sitting on the bed wearing only shorts when Naruto's eyes widened and he asked, are you sure? Sakura replied, I want to feel what that feels like from someone who actually means it. After saying softly, your forehead's so big, Naruto leaned down and planted a kiss squarely in the middle of her forehead. Sakura's eyes had closed and she felt herself melt from the kiss. She opened her eyes, turned to face Naruto, and said, I don't want to, but would you lie with me and hold me, Naruto? She blushed and said, I don't want to be alone right now. With a gentle smile, Naruto said, let me take my shirt off since it's got a little blood on it. He then crawled up onto the bed and gave Sakura another forehead kiss. Before lying down, Sakura had moved aside to make room for him on the bed, and she placed her head on his chest before feeling Naruto place his hand on her back and rub it gently. After lying for a few minutes and feeling Sakura on his chest, Naruto exclaimed, Sakura. Sakura tried to calm herself and said, you can ask 3 questions, Naruto said. Sakura opened her closed eyes for a brief moment and said, really? Yes, 2 questions left, said Naruto with a sly smile. Sakura positioned herself to glare at Naruto, saying, that was mean. Did it teach you to think before you speak? Asked Naruto. After pouting, Sakura asked, how are you related to the Shoden? After giving it some thought. After a brief pause, Naruto uttered the words, my father was born to Tsunade Senju, the Shoden's granddaughter. With wide eyes, Sakura uttered, you know who, I'm not falling for that. With a small laugh, Naruto remarked, you're learning, so what is your last question? After giving it some thought, Sakura asked, what are your parents' names? According to Naruto, Minato and Kushina Uzumaki. I've never heard of them, Sakura remarked, are they still alive? Naruto replied, you asked your last question already, Sakura. Is there anything I can do to get more questions? Sakura pouted. Naruto paused for a moment and replied, that day in the park I almost got your first kiss while disguised as Sasuke. Give me a real kiss and I'll give you 3 more questions. Sakura remarked, but it's my first kiss, Naruto replied, which is why it's so valuable and why I am giving you 3 questions for it. Sakura scowled, gave Naruto a quick glance, and then uttered, 10 questions. According to Naruto, 3 and 1 yes or no question. According to Sakura, 8 and 2 yes of no questions. Naruto replied, 5 questions, but I have the right to refuse 2 if they are something I don't want to answer. Hey, that was your initial offer, Sakura said, you can simply decline the other 2. Wise girl, Naruto remarked, let's see, I have 5 questions, and I can turn down 2 of them, but you can ask the other 2. However, I get to ask you 1 question, which you must honestly answer, no matter what. Deal? Deal, Sakura said. First, what question do you have? Not until I get the kiss, said Naruto. You're not obligated to kiss me after I respond, but I'm honored to tell you what you ask. With a lip bite, Sakura said, close your eyes. Yes, Naruto replied. He closed his eyes and said, I trust you. After biting her lip for a brief moment, Sakura leaned forward and gave Naruto a gentle kiss on the lips. My question is, why were you willing to give me your first kiss when you could have just waited until another opportunity came up to get more questions from me? Naruto said as she withdrew a few seconds later, her face flushed. Sakura said, blushing even more. Naruto replied, go ahead and ask your questions and you can answer me after them so you have time to think. Sakura said, you're so aggravating, with her lips pursed. What the heck if I am? Said Naruto. If I wasn't, it wouldn't be enjoyable, would you? You said Tsunade gave birth to your father, why is his last name Uzumaki then? Sakura sighed after giving it some thought. Naruto stated, Tsunade gave birth to my father and placed him in the orphanage where he grew up as an orphan, so when my father married my mother he took her clan name since he believed he was an orphan. Sakura said, why would Tsunade do that? With a frown. I'm not entirely sure why, but I can assume that she likes Sasuke to some extent. Naruto remarked she was living off her family name and fame at the time and hadn't really accomplished anything significant. She would lose all the special treatment she receives if she did something that would bring shame to her family, such as having a child so young before marriage. Sasuke-kun's not like that, Sakura remarked. Really, said Naruto, what has he done to earn everyone's respect aside from being Uchiha? You and I have accomplished more on this mission than he has, and it is his first actual mission outside the village. According to Sakura, but he was the rookie of the year. He was given the title of Sakura, but what does that really mean out here in the field? Asked Naruto. Given that I concealed my true abilities, as a ninja should, and that I wasn't the only student in our class to do so, do you really believe that a ridiculous title automatically makes someone better? Do you really think a title awarded to a different ninja each year means anything, especially when there is proof all around you? 3 questions remain. After scowling and glancing down at Naruto's flexed chest muscles, which made her flush, Sakura remarked, you know, if you didn't hide your body in that orange jumpsuit you would have probably had fangirls. I don't want fangirls, Naruto declared. Sakura blushed more and said, stop making fun of me. I only want one girl. Naruto replied, why? I like seeing you blush and know that it's because of me you're blushing, and you do realize you're still without a shirt, right? Biting her lip, Sakura explained, it's training. With a tone of disbelief, Naruto dragged out the word, right. Pouting, Sakura uttered, 3 questions left, right. With a sly smile, Naruto remarked, you only used one of the 2 left. With a scowl, Sakura remarked, I think I liked you better when you were an idiot. Naruto teasingly remarked, that sucks because you hated me as an idiot. Sakura wrinkled her nose, gave it some quick thought, and said, you mentioned that your dad adopted your mother's clan name, the Uzumaki clan, is something I've never heard of before. Who are they? Ask another question, said Naruto. Sakura inquired, why? Naruto replied, because to tell you anything about the Uzumaki clan I would have to tell you everything, which would destroy the very foundation of everything you were taught in the academy and more, and I don't know if you can handle the truth and you have 1 question left. Sakura replied, why are you so sure that I can't handle the truth? Frowning, Naruto uttered, please, Sakura, ask something else. That's your second refusal and you can't refuse anything else. Why do you hate Sasuke-kun? Sakura scowled. With his eyes closed, Naruto uttered the words, Sakura, it's not Sasuke I hate his clan. But you didn't respond to my query, Sakura remarked. Why do you despise them? After a moment of silence, Naruto replaced himself with his jacket and uttered the words, because the Uchihas are the ones responsible for the death of my parents as well as the abuse I've suffered in my life. My clan, my family, my honor, everything important to me has been taken by the Uchihas, including your love. Sakura exclaimed, what? In shock at Naruto's replacement. Sasuke returned, and Tsunami nearly prepared dinner. Naruto interrupted her. Tell Kakashi you don't want to discuss it, or tell him the story you heard me tell him earlier. If he asks what happened after putting on his shirt, he approached the door and said, I'll lock the door behind me so you can have your privacy. Naruto, wait, Sakura said, but Naruto disregarded her and hurriedly opened and shut the door. Why would the Uchiha clan do those things? Sakura asked with a frown. Sasuke was seated at the table when Naruto descended the stairs, and Kakashi was also present. Kakashi asked, is everything alright, Naruto? Yeah, Sakura-chans are awake, Naruto said. I've spoken to her about that and have chosen to give her some time to reflect. There were no injuries other than minor bruising on her face and around her ribs. The other guys or her face punch was the source of all the blood. Between Kakashi and Naruto, Sasuke looked perplexed and uttered the words, what are you talking about, Dobi? When Naruto stated, Sakura and I ran into a couple of Gado men and fought them, Kakashi began to open his mouth. Sakura was a little shaken by it, but they were both okay. Sakura actually fought someone, Sasuke remarked. I assumed that she would flee or begin yelling for help. When Sakura heard Sasuke's words, she froze as she was coming down the stairs. Then she heard a thud and the sound of flesh hitting flesh. Sakura came the rest of the way down the stairs and saw Naruto glaring at Sasuke while Kakashi held him back while Sasuke rubbed his chin. "Don't insult her again, Sasuke," roared Naruto. "She is a fellow Konoha ninja and a member of our team. She is an equal member of this team to you. You can only say that you helped protect Tazuna on the way here before you attempted suicide out of fear, but she has been busting her ass protecting him every single day." "That's enough," Kakashi said in a firm voice. Sakura was glaring at Naruto when Sasuke noticed her and remarked, "You still have people protecting you, Sakura, how frail you are." Sakura said, "That's enough, Naruto." As Naruto struggled to escape Kakashi's hold, Naruto thought, "Sasuke going to pay for that? I don't need you to defend me in front of Sasuke-kun," she said as she approached. Sasuke grinned before Sakura startled everyone by kneeing him in the nuts. "I can do it myself," she added. With wide eyes, Naruto addressed Sakura and exclaimed, "Sakura-chan." Sakura winked at Naruto and then laughed at the shocked expression on Naruto's face before grinning and saying, "Not everything gone, Naruto." Kakashi remarked, "That's enough, all of you," as Sasuke glared at Sakura and Naruto from where he was lying on the ground. "I won't allow you to attack your teammates. How are you doing, Sasuke?" Still clutching his nuts, Sasuke uttered the words in a hushed voice, "The weak bitch didn't hurt me." "It's kind of funny you come to Sasuke defense so quickly, but you never came to mine when Sakura would attack me," Naruto remarked as Sakura glared at Sasuke. With a sigh, Kakashi said, "Listen to the three of you. I'll report all three of you to the Hokage and request that you be sent back to the academy if you don't change your behavior and start acting like Konoha's ninja. Do you all get it?" All three genin scowled and said, "Hi Kakashi-sensei. Sit down all of you. Good. Now I have some questions I want answered by each of you. Sasuke, how is your training coming?" Kakashi said after releasing Naruto. Sasuke glared at Sakura and Sasuke and remarked, "I'm about 3/4 of the way up the tree." "All right, then tomorrow is your last day of training even if you don't get it," Kakashi said, nodding. "It must be sufficient. You and the rest of the team will begin protecting Tazuna the day after tomorrow. Now, Sakura, tell me what has been going on while you've been watching over Tazuna." As Sakura put it, "I don't want to talk about it, sensei." "I didn't ask Sakura," said Kakashi. "I want you to explain what has been happening to me." "Good thing Naruto used that Kagebunshin jutsu on me," Sakura scowled and remarked. "Naruto has been using Kagebunshin to help with the bridge's construction as well as patrolling the bridge and the surrounding area, to make sure there haven't been any traps set up overnight. We've been inspecting the area beneath and surrounding the bridge. I've been watching over Tazuna and assisting with patrols." In response, Kakashi asked, "And what about what happened today?" "I was patrolling with a Kagebunshin when we heard a scream and went to investigate," Sakura said, biting her lip. "Inside a warehouse, we discovered Gado men murdering slaves. As I went in to stop the third guy, I saw that someone had set up a net with crates in it over the doorway where the guy was standing. I used the sword to cut the rope holding the net, which caused the crates to fall and kill the guy. After that, I don't remember much other than being in Naruto's arms until we returned. I accidentally talked too loudly, and two men emerged. Naruto fought the two men and ended up killing them." "Where did you get the sword?" asked Kakashi. "I gave it to her after I took it off one of the guys I was fighting, or my clone did," Naruto stated. "One of my Kagebunshin replaced himself with the sword in the guy's hand." He rubbed the back of his head and said, "I'm still trying to get used to memories of Kagebunshin figured out." Glaring at Naruto, Kakashi emphasized Sakura's name and asked, "Do you have anything else you would like to add, Sakura?" Kakashi asked, "What about you, Naruto? Anything you would like to add?" After Sakura shook her head no. Kakashi responded, "Very well. Now Naruto, how do you know a barrier jutsu?" After Naruto shook his head no. With a bewildered expression, Naruto uttered, "Huh, what are you talking about, sensei?" Kakashi replied, "Earlier when I closed the door, a barrier jutsu was put up to keep anyone from entering the room you were in as well as stopping anyone from hearing what was going on in there. Now how do you know a jutsu like that?" "When one of my neighbors complained that I was making too much noise," Naruto said, "someone showed it to me. It's a jutsu for silencing. I didn't want to startle Tazuna and his family with Sakura's initial reaction when she woke up with me in her room." Behind his mask, Kakashi scowled and asked, "Did anyone teach you anything else?" Naruto replied, "Sure, I was taught to read, write, cook, clean, do laundry, sew." According to Kakashi, I meant any ninja skills. "You are aware that I have a sensei," Naruto said. "I have learned how to hold a kunai, how to do a henge, a replacement, a bunshin, how to shape chakra, and more." Sakura was trying not to laugh, but Kakashi's eyebrow was twitching, and he said, "Enough." Kakashi stopped talking as the kitchen door opened, and Tsunami asked, "Is it okay to serve dinner now? The food is getting cold, so I was waiting until your meeting was over." With a smile, Kakashi said, "Yes, pardon us, Tsunami-san. It appears that our teamwork has been suffering because I have been unable to adequately supervise them due to my injuries. I'll talk to them about it later." Tsunami nods and returns to the kitchen, where she wipes her hands with a dish towel and says, "Dad, Inari, dinner's ready." Kakashi narrows her eyes at Naruto as Tsunami returns with a platter of rice and vegetables. Inari descended from the top of the stairs and Tazuna came from one of the first floor rooms, and they both sat at the table. Kakashi continued to stare at Naruto as Tsunami distributed the food, and Naruto responded, "Why are you looking at me like that, Kakashi-sensei?" According to Kakashi, "Like what?" in an accusing tone, Naruto remarked, "The same way people like Mizuki would look at me." Kakashi's eye widened and said, "I'm not like Mizuki, Naruto, but I don't like the fact that you seem to be challenging me in my position lately, or the fact that you suddenly seem to be more skilled than you used to be." Naruto replied, "I see you don't like the fact I'm actually showing up your favorite student." "I don't know what you're talking about, Naruto," Kakashi remarked. "Bullshit," said Naruto. "I'm positive you wanted Sasuke to be your apprentice, but the Sandame made you take a team rather than just one student," Kakashi said, his eyes widening. Smirking, Naruto remarked, "I've been more wary of people who are supposed to be my superiors ever since what happened with Mizuki. I learned that you were given specific scrolls that outlined a timeline for teaching specific skills, along with all the other Junin instructors. It began as a C-rank mission, but according to standard procedure, when a mission like this grows as much as it did, you should have sent a message back to Konoha to inform the Hokage so he can decide if we should have some backup. That would have been very helpful while you were lounging around and trying to get laid. You were supposed to teach us tree climbing and water walking weeks ago, not 2 months into our training, and not in the middle of an A-rank mission. Our sensei, who reads Icha in front of us rather than instructing us, is an open pervert." "I don't mean to offend Tsunami-san," Tazuna thought. Cock blocked. "I thought you should know the kind of man who's been flirting with you." Glaring at Kakashi, Tsunami scowled and said, "That's enough, Naruto." "No, it's not," said Naruto. "Since you believe Sakura is a weak fangirl who shouldn't even be a ninja. You are waiting for Sasuke to awaken his Sharingan so you can train him one-on-one. I am aware that you are intentionally being lazy by blaming me for his death, even though I had no control over that." Sakura's expression changed to one of hurt, and Kakashi's eyes widened. Naruto responded, "You're right about your suspicion, though in order to make up for being let down by Mizuki and to correct your errors, I've been surreptitiously obtaining real training from someone. I've been overly protective of Sakura because of this. Despite your claims to the contrary, you don't care about teamwork. You feel bad about having Obito's eye because of this." The next instant, Naruto was flying backwards after Kakashi had punched him. After hitting the wall, Naruto rubbed his bleeding lip and vanished in a whirlpool of leaves, saying, "Tsukumo, Minato, and Obito would be disappointed in you." Sakura glanced between the door and Kakashi before she stood up and moved in the direction of the door, shocked not only by Naruto's words but also by his own actions. Kakashi scowled behind his mask. Sakura caused Sasuke and Kakashi's eyes to widen, and Kakashi asked, "Where are you going, Sakura?" As Sakura put it, "To find Naruto." "No, let Naruto cool down," and Kakashi said. Sakura remarked, "Kakashi, you may be an excellent squad leader, but you're a terrible sensei." Despite his occasional foolishness, Naruto has a good heart. "I've learned more from Naruto than I have from you, and he has supported me more than you ever have in order to make it easier for us to check the bottom of the bridge. Naruto taught me how to walk in the water. He also had me walk on trees during our patrols to help me build up my chakra reserves." She slammed the door behind her as she left, saying, "There's something you should have done instead of dismissing me." Sakura arrived at the clearing where she had been training 20 minutes later to discover Naruto sprawled on the grass, gazing up at the night sky. Naruto remarked, "How did you find me so quickly?" as Sakura approached and took a seat next to him. "I assumed you would want to go somewhere where you could be by yourself without being discovered," Sakura said. "Are you okay? I mean, from the punch?" This was the only location that came to mind that made being discovered difficult. "Sorry about that back there, it's just something that needed to be said," Naruto sighed. "Why did you get so upset back there?" asked Sakura. "You know Sasuke going to hate you for attacking him like that," Naruto said, biting his lip. "I don't care what he thinks," Sakura declared. "He is a self-centered jerk who only thinks about himself. Now that I realize that, please stop attempting to divert my attention from my inquiries." After giving Sakura a quick glance, Naruto said, "Sakura, I understand how much this will hurt you in the future and I care about how you feel given your first kill, how I've changed this week, how I've been treating you, and what you heard me say about why you're here. You're angry with Sasuke, perplexed, and exposed. You will probably be in pain once you've had a chance to sort out your thoughts and feelings, and I don't want that. I understand that, but please don't try to divert my attention. Sakura said, I trust you more than I trust Sasuke or Kakashi right now, please believe me. Naruto looked at him and replied, don't worry about what's going on, Sakura, it's something that can't be changed or fixed and it's a very personal issue. Do you still want me to train you? Biting her lip, Sakura uttered, Naruto, trust me please, I know there is more going on. With narrowed eyes, Naruto gazed at Sakura, who responded, you set Kakashi up back there, you knew exactly what to say and do to piss him off. Naruto stopped and said, Sakura, yeah, there is more going on, but I can tell you at least not yet. Can you give me till we get back to Konoha to tell you what's going on? After Sakura nodded and bit her lip, Naruto remarked, good, so do you still want me to train you? Sakura replied, you're not going to make me kill anyone else like you did today, are you? Naruto replied, you will have to kill, but I won't force you to anymore. Then I still want to train with you, Sakura remarked. After nodding, Naruto got up and extended his hand to Sakura, who replied, what are you planning to do? Don't worry about it, Naruto said. Sakura, I'll defend you even from myself. To Sakura's surprise, Naruto kissed her forehead and remarked, I still think your forehead's so big that it makes me want to kiss it. Sakura blushed a little and took Naruto's hand to pull herself up. Before her eyes closed and she collapsed into Naruto's arms after Naruto struck a pressure point and knocked her unconscious, Sakura felt her heart race. Sakura blinked repeatedly when she woke up and discovered Naruto on his knees, panting, in the bed in her room at Tazuna's house. Sakura hurried to her feet, threw off the covers, and walked over to Naruto's side, saying, Naruto, are you alright? After taking a deep breath, Naruto said, Sakura, I'm fine, my chakra is just low right now, I need a minute to recuperate. With a distressed expression, Sakura inquired, what happened, Naruto? Sit down for a moment and listen to me, Sakura, Naruto said, scowling as he collapsed onto his butt. I'll describe the situation. Naruto said, remember when I first woke you up by hitting you with a wet wash rag? Sakura scowled but sat down. After Sakura nods, Naruto opens his hand and reveals an eyeball, which causes Sakura to gasp. When you first opened your eyes and looked at me, I placed you under a genjutsu with this. With a sickly tone, Sakura asked, what do you mean? Why did you subject me to genjutsu, and where did you get that eye? What is happening? I cannot tell you where or how I got this eye, Naruto remarked, although it's classified. I used this on you because the Sharingan has a unique genjutsu known as Tsukuyomi. I used Tsukuyomi on you so that I could teach you and talk to you about the things I did so that I can help protect you without having to expose myself to discovery by Kakashi. It enables the user to immerse a victim in a world of their creation for what appears to be 72 hours when only a second occurs in the real world. So you're saying that everything that's happened since you first woke me up wasn't real? Sakura scowled. Everything I said in it are things I've wanted to say to you, Naruto said, casting a downward glance. I genuinely feel something for you. You're saying that I didn't kill anyone, that all that training I did was for nothing? Sakura scowled as she stepped back a few feet from Naruto. All of the training tips I gave you, such as how to properly walk on trees, walk on water, hold a sword, and perform trap skills, were real, Naruto remarked. You just haven't trained your body to use them like you did in the genjutsu. Regarding the killing part, do you really believe that I would voluntarily allow you to be placed in a potentially fatal situation if I could stop it? I would definitely die for you, Sakura. That is how much I care for you. Biting her lip, Sakura turned her head away and uttered, that day in the park, was that really you? Yes, Naruto replied after turning to face Naruto. Sakura remarked, why pretend to be Sasuke then? Looking down, Naruto remarked, I knew you were ashamed of your forehead and that, as the first in your family, you were questioning your own deservingness of being a ninja since you worked so hard to graduate from the academy. I figured I would reward you by playing the role of Sasuke and saying the words you had hoped to hear, thus satisfying one of your fantasies. I was aware that it brightened your day and helped you to put your uncertainties and anxieties aside. How do you know so much about how I think and feel? Sakura asked, closing her eyes. Because when someone holds your heart in their hands, the heart can feel the heart of that person through that person's pulse, Naruto explained, stepping forward and placing his finger over her lips. When you're happy, I want to smile. When you're sad, I want to cry. When you laugh, I want to laugh too. And when you're hurt, I want to protect you, soothe you, and take away your suffering. When Sakura shut her eyes, Isis remarked, he's telling the truth, Sakura. After a moment of frowning, Sakura asked herself, and how do you know that Isis? Isis stated, if you would have felt his pulse through his finger against your lips when he spoke, you would have noticed that he was speaking the truth about his feelings for you were true. Naruto looked down and said, I'm sorry, as he shushed away after Sakura bit her lip and he moved his finger away from her. Naruto thought, I'm such a fool. Sakura's eyes widened as she glanced at the floor where Naruto had been and noticed that he had shed a single tear before he shook off the scene. After descending the stairs 2 hours later, Sakura started to look around and noticed Sasuke and Kakashi seated at the table with Tazuna, Tsunami, and Inari. Kakashi then asked, have you seen Naruto this morning, Sakura? When Sasuke woke up this morning, he reported that his bed was empty. The house door opened before she could speak, and Naruto entered. To everyone's surprise, he was carrying the Zabuza sword over his shoulder. In an instant, Sasuke exclaimed, how the hell did you get that dobi? Remember when I hanged into that demon windmill shuriken and made those cage bunshin? Naruto said, rubbing the back of his head. I had assumed that all of my cage bunshin had vanished, but last night while I was asleep, I was able to recall one of them. It turned out that my cage bunshin had managed to replace itself with the Zabuza sword that was at the bottom of the lake rather than being captured by that phony hunter Nin at first. I couldn't believe the memories, so I crept outside to check if the Zabuza sword was actually there. It was. That implies that the other memories I had were also authentic. Kakashi responded, you should have told someone you were heading out this morning, Naruto. You're too hurt to fight Zabuza, partner sensei, Naruto said. My clone's memories show that he was sleeping in a different room when the fake sword dispelled it. We had a brief window of opportunity to ensure that Zabuza wouldn't have his sword for his battle with us after he recovered. If the memories were genuine, the risk was worthwhile for the profit. You're right, Kakashi said, biting his lip behind the mask. Well done. Naruto, did you learn anything else from your cage bunshin memories? Zabuza's partner is skilled in using herbs for both healing and poisoning, Naruto stated. The female hunter Nin is incredibly swift. Haku, Zabuza's partner, broke Gado's arm after Gado, who has 2 sword-wielding bodyguards, visited Zabuza yesterday and urged him not to let him down again. Haku also kept that white rabbit as a pet. I'm not sure about the recollections, but he noticed that Haku was able to establish rapport while treating Zabuza by using one hand sign. She must have a bloodline then and is far more dangerous than I thought, Kakashi said, his eyes widening. She's at least Chunin level. Naruto, you did a great job gathering the information. Does that mean I can keep Zabuza's sword after we return to Konoha? Asked Naruto, flushed. Kakashi looked at him and replied, I'm afraid that choice will be the Hokage's, Naruto, and that is if we can keep it away from Zabuza. As Naruto opened his mouth to speak, a knock on the door caused Kakashi to scowl, draw a kunai, and utter the words, who's there? Kakashi and Naruto both recognized the external voice that said, reinforcements from Konoha. Hitaki. Kakashi. According to Kakashi, I never sent for reinforcements. Kakashi turned to face Naruto after he scowled and said, I did, sensei. The door was opened, and a man entered. Kakashi then asked, why would the Hokage send you here, Danzo? Danzo turned to face Naruto and remarked, perhaps you should ask him. My message wasn't to you, Danzo, Naruto scowled. No, the message was intended for Hachi, but Hachi has been, Danzo said, reassigned. After his eyes widened, Naruto turned to face the floor and uttered the words, I see. What's going on here, Naruto? Kakashi asked, glancing between Naruto and Danzo. Did you bring anyone with medical skills, Danzo? Naruto asked, scowling as he approached the window and peered out. Kakashi is not fully recovered from his conflict with Zabuza. I did, Danzo said, but until we talked, I won't be offering him my services. You are aware of my desires. After glancing back at Kakashi and then at Sakura and Sasuke, Naruto scowled and said, very well, Danzo, I'll inform you what you want to know. But his gaze lingered on Sakura for a moment. According to Danzo, but what? Naruto glanced at him and replied, but Team 7 is present for our talk and you confirm the information I released to them while having a medic oversee Kakashi care while the others you brought with you guard the house. With his lips pursed, Danzo uttered, and why should I agree to that? Naruto replied, because it's the only way you will get the answers you want to know. Very good, Danzo said, where can we have a private conversation? Tazuna, would you mind if we use the shed behind your house to have a private conversation? Naruto asked, glancing at Tazuna and his family. When Tazuna saw the ninja in the mask and cloak enter the house, he replied, sure. Roku, follow us and heal Kakashi, Danzo said. If you would, Kakashi. Kakashi stated, we are having a very long talk with the Hokage after this, Naruto. As he passed Kakashi, Naruto remarked, I knew that the moment I heard Danzo's voice. After scowling, Kakashi trailed Danzo and Team 7 into the storage shed. After waiting for Danzo to perform a privacy jutsu, Naruto sat down on a crate and bit his lip before asking, "Kakashi-sensei, do you know what a GPS is?" Kakashi's eyes widened a little and he replied, "Yes, I know what a GPS is." Says Sasuke. "What's a GPS?" "It's a seal applied to ninjas who perform black ops," Naruto stated. Usually Anbu or Spy's Ghost Protocol seal is what it stands for. When the seal is applied to a person, everything they learn while wearing it is erased when the seal is activated in order to prevent them from knowing what they did while at Anbu. The majority of Anbu who receive the seal have it activated when they depart. Their whole existence during that time is non-existent. Like a ghost, several people wanted to train me when I was 5 for various reasons. Danzo here and your mother, Makoto Uchiha, were among those who wanted to train me. "My mother wanted to train you," said Sasuke. "Why?" Naruto remarked, "My mother was Itachi's godmother and yours. She was also her best friend. Makoto was my godmother and tried her best to help me, but the Uchiha elders forbade her from adopting me or caring for me the way she desired. She passed away on the day of the Kyuubi attack as a result. She agreed to let me receive training in secret if Danzo would help make it happen. There was a possibility that I would be abducted or killed because my mother had been abducted by Kumo once, so I had a GPS seal put on me to ensure that I couldn't be tortured for Konoha's secret or divulge information about what I knew. Which leads us to the reason I've come here. Danzo said, I'm positive that something happened to you and that the GPS was triggered, wiping out all of your knowledge and memories. That's what made you the fool that everyone knows you to be. Could you please tell me how you unlocked the GPS and what initially triggered it? Both of these things shouldn't be feasible." After she gave me a scroll prior to the Uchiha massacre, Makoto Uchiha activated it, Naruto said. Biting his lip, the odds were that Sasuke would have been the first Sharingan I saw because she knew that she and Itachi would probably die as he's still alive. "Itachi?" She changed the seal before activating it so that when I saw a Sharingan, I would remember the truth and be able to give the scroll to Sasuke. "Yes," Danzo replied. "Then Makoto and Itachi failed then and Itachi is still a slave," said Naruto with a scowl. When Sasuke asked, "What did you say?" everyone's eyes widened. "Itachi is not a slave. Your brother Itachi was given a poison by the Uchiha elders on the day of the Kyuubi attack, which would kill him if he didn't get an antidote within 48 hours, Naruto stated. Makoto was given a choice by the elders of Uchiha: watch her son die or betray her best friend, who was my mother. My mother died as a result of her betrayal, and Makoto, feeling guilty about her death, activated the Magna Q Sharingan. The elders were aware that, like the Shodem Hokage wife before her, my mother was responsible for protecting the seal that kept the Kyuubi imprisoned. The Uchiha elders had a plan to seize the Kyuubi because they wanted it to once more be used as a weapon by the Uchiha clan, just like it was for Madara Uchiha. The elders were responsible for the release of the Kyuubi on Konoha. However, the Yondaime vanquished it before the Uchiha elders could use it as a weapon. As a result, the elders realized that Makoto's guilt would force her to tell the Hokage the truth, so they blackmailed her into remaining silent by treating Itachi's poisoning rather than curing him. Itachi will pass away if the treatment is not administered once every 48 hours. Makoto and Itachi were therefore preparing to detain the Uchiha elders and bring them before the Hokage on the day that she turned on my GPS. Although I'm not sure what happened, the fact that Itachi is still alive indicates that at least one of the elders or someone who works for them is still using Itachi. They might have even turned you against Itachi because he cared for you, but I'm not sure. Danzo questioned, "Do you have any proof?" Everyone gasped when Naruto held out his hand and said, "I have the scroll with Makoto confession as well as something she wanted me to have to protect myself with if her and Itachi failed one of her Magna Q Sharingan." With a firm tone, Sasuke commanded, "Give me my mother's Idobi." "She put a security seal on it, Sasuke," Naruto remarked. "If you can, take it, but the eye will be automatically called back to me. It will also put you in a genjutsu that will force you to face your biggest fear. It is impossible to take or destroy the eye. In addition to what she did to me on the day of the massacre, she also made sure that the eye would remain with me as a small token of retaliation for her role in my mother's death. I despise the Uchiha clan in part because of that. My parents and many others died as a result of your clan's haughtiness here. Don't believe me? Accept it." Naruto took out a scroll and remarked, "This is a copy I made of the original which I plan to give to the Sandaime." After Sasuke scowled at the eye after noticing multiple seals on it, "You were able to read it for yourself. I'll let the Sandaime make the final decision. He will most likely use this information to track down Itachi and whoever is in charge of him so they can be held accountable." Taking the scroll, Sasuke read it. "Greetings, Sasuke. If you're reading this, it means that I'm probably dead too, along with your brother Itachi. Regardless of what others may say, what I'm about to tell you is the truth. On the day that Kushina gave birth to Naruto, the elders of the Uchiha clan poisoned your brother Itachi. And I am also Naruto's godmother. The elders wanted her dead because, as long as she was alive, a special seal was in place that kept the Kyuubi sealed away, just as it has been since Konoha was founded, and the Kushina family, the Uzumaki clan, were once the best seal masters in the world, so who could protect Konoha and ensure the seal wasn't destroyed. The elders felt insulted that the Shoden had chosen his brother to be the Nidaime, and that the Nidaime had chosen the student of both the Shoden and the Nidaime to be the Sandaime. The Sandaime had chosen the last surviving male Senju to be the Yondaime. That's right, son. Minato Namikaze was the son of Tsunade Senju, the granddaughter of the Shoden Hokage. I suppose his identity and name were concealed to ensure that our enemies wouldn't target the Senju clan. In any case, the elders knew that I would confess what they had done when they released the Kyuubi and Kushina died, so instead of curing your brother, they kept him alive with a special antidote that would only stop the poison temporarily. 3 days ago, the elders ordered Shisho to kill Itachi and me because they believed that we were more loyal to Konoha than to them. Shisho killed himself to save Itachi and me so that we would have time to bring the elders to justice. Itachi and I intend to arrest the elders, take them before the Hokage, and ask a Yamanaka to discover the remedy for the poison Itachi possesses. Since you were reading this, we failed. The elders must be stopped at all costs before they destroy not only the Uchiha clan but also Konoha. I gave Naruto this scroll along with a gift, my Magna Q Sharingan. The eye I got from betraying his mother. If you were reading this, please give it to Sasuke and the two of you take it to the Hokage. A seal with proof of my claim is hidden on the bottom of this scroll. I love you, my son, and I know that you are making me proud to be a devoted Konoha shinobi rather than a haughty traitor like the elders. Goodbye. Uchiha Mikoto. As he read the scroll with tears in his eyes, Sasuke remarked, I need some time to think. Can I leave? Naruto turned to face Kakashi, who nodded before Sasuke walked away. Can you follow him, Sakura, and make sure he doesn't do something we all will regret? Kakashi asked, glancing at Sakura after they had left. Before leaving, Sakura gave Naruto a quick glance and said, Hi Kakashi-sensei. After she left, Kakashi remarked, now that they're gone, what's actually happening? That scroll is a fake, and I know it. Anybody with Uchiha blood in them would trigger a reaction from the Uchiha family's secret letterhead. It was in all of their documents. You're right, Kakashi-sensei. The scroll was a fake, Naruto remarked. I see your reputation as an Anbu captain is well deserved. On the eve of the Uchiha massacre, Danzo passed away. When I first started training under Danzo, I created this unique clone, which is known as a mimic clone. Mikoto did train me as well, and she did erase my memories, but only because I was going to carry out the Sandaime Hokage's orders to kill all of the Uchiha for treason. The scroll claimed that Itachi was poisoned and that the Uchiha family was plotting a coup against the village. However, it failed to mention that the elders were acting on the orders of another Uchiha, of whom Konoha has no records, and who actually attacked my parents the day I was born. With that poison, he is the one who has Itachi as a slave. I fought against him, along with Danzo and 20 other Root members, and the others perished. As he led Root in the genocide we were planning to carry out that evening, Danzo had made this clone to represent him with the Hokage and the elders. It was to be his final act as Root's leader before he retired. That mission served as my last test as his designated successor, demonstrating my willingness to go to any lengths to safeguard Konoha. If Mikoto hadn't attacked me that night, I would have killed the bastard because he told her that Itachi would perish if he died because only he knew the cure. I didn't get this eye from Mikoto. One of my final deeds before my memories were erased was to tear it from her head. All this time, it had been kept hidden on me in a seal. With a frown, Kakashi asked, what are your plans regarding Sasuke? Aside from occasionally kicking his ass, nothing as long as he's loyal to Konoha, said Naruto with a frown. Despite my dislike for it, the Sharingan is a very useful tool. I have no reason to harm Sasuke as long as he remains loyal and rebuilds his clan. Itachi and that jerk Tobi, however, are a different matter. After being sealed away for so long, I need to discover what has been going on with Root and where my body is at this point. I'll let the Sandaime know about all of this as well, but if he tries to stop me or take Root away from me, then everyone will know about the Kyuubi, Senju clan, Uzumaki clan, and Uchiha clan. I am Naruto Uzumaki, the leader of Root, the last surviving member of the Senju and Uzumaki clan, the son of Minato Namikaze and Kushina Uzumaki, and the Jinchuriki of the Kyuubi no Kitsune. The founder is my codename. From behind his mask, Kakashi scowled and uttered, your father would be disappointed. Funny enough, My father was created by a one-night stand between Uncle Kakashi and Tsukumo Hitaki in Tsunade Senju. Naruto remarked, didn't Grandpa Tsukumo die for saving his friends by breaking the rules, just like Obito? What does it make you feel that I'm a letdown for breaking the rules to save my friends? Kakashi's eyes widened, and he snarled, you're lying. I got a scroll with a blood seal. Naruto grinned, I'll let you open it. This scroll will release a lightning jutsu and kill you if you're lying, Kakashi said. Scowling and reaching into his vest, he produced a scroll and said, only those who possess the Hitaki blood can open it. I can be killed taking a walk through the village. What's one more danger in my life? Said Naruto, holding out his hand. After biting his lip behind his mask, Kakashi said, trembling, why didn't Sensei ever tell me he was my brother? He was still holding the scroll tightly, preventing Naruto from taking it. Dad created the seal's root use, Naruto stated in return for Danzo taking a paternity test to determine his parents' identities. He made them because Rin and Obito were genin, and you were already a chunin when you joined Team Minato. That's why he asked you to be his student. Why he didn't tell you is beyond me, perhaps because he wished for you to learn to let go of the past. Why didn't you ever tell me? Asked Kakashi. Because you and the Sandame lied to me about my parents and the reasons I was despised. How can I trust you? Said Naruto, even though you protected me more than any other guard, you never bothered to heed your own counsel and look past the obvious. After all, what kind of dead last fool could have broken into the Hokage tower and stolen a scroll, or painted the Hokage monument in broad daylight? If you had, you would have seen all the signs that I was more than I seemed. I was far more advanced than the other students in my class. Even though I was sealed off from my true abilities, despite this, I failed, and my teachers despised me and attempted to have me killed within a few hours. I was able to learn jutsu at the Junin level 1, still possessed the abilities I had trained to use instinctively. Simply put, no one was searching for them. Danzo, stay in Konoha as you have until I get back, Naruto said, turning to face him. Make a scroll for me that includes everything I missed while sealed and the records the real Danzo left behind to prove that he selected me to be his heir. When I have all the information, I'll bring it along to talk to the Sandame to help Team Kakashi with our mission. Leave one team and the medic here. They should be hidden but used as a backup unless I call for them. Roku will be the only one left that is visible. Do you get it? Yes, Naruto-sama, Danzo said. Is there anything more? Start collecting information on every rumor of any Sharingan, Uchiha, or Itachi sightings since the massacre, Naruto said, biting his lip. I want to know how dangerous that Tobi bastard and Itachi are to Konoha and what the hell they have been up to all this time. Hi, Danzo said. You have your orders, Roku, he said, hushed. Glancing at Roku, Kakashi scowled and remarked, you don't have a problem following Naruto's orders. According to Roku, Root has always had a defined chain of command. The founder is the real leader of Root, even for those who have never met him. I see, said Kakashi. Doubt it, Naruto snorted. I must go lay down now, if you don't mind. Since the release of my GPS, I have been running after you're done with Kakashi-sensei. Roku, please assess Sakura's suitability for medical training and start teaching her the fundamentals. And Roku said, hi Naruto-sama. As Roku completed healing Kakashi, who was lost in thought, Naruto hushed away.
That's it for today. I hope you guys enjoyed this great story. See you in the next one.